Defining Duke is brought to you by Athletic Greens. I started taking AG1 because I didn't have time today to clearly get all my vitamins in. I was in a rush, I was a little bit messy, but that's where Athletic Greens steps in because it's one delicious scoop of AG1 and you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. And that's personally why it works for me in my busy lifestyle. So right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/Duke. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/Duke to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support the show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Salutations, everybody. It is Maddie here, and welcome to episode 78 of Defining Duke at Xbox podcast. Today, I'm joined by the world traveler, Lord Cognito.
Yo, what's going on, Maddie? The Dukes are back. Let's go, man. I'm excited. Guys, I'm looking forward to this show for reasons.
Oh, yes.
Reasons.
What reasons, Cog?
There's so many reasons. This show is very geared towards what Maddie thinks, and I want to know. But other than that, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. We have a really exciting show in store for you all. A lot of news around Xbox. Some last minute bangers came in hot on the day of recording today, Wednesday. A rare occurrence indeed. If you don't remember, oftentimes we're snake bitten by the news cycle. So some hot ones came in that actually topped off our show, which is great. I want to thank the audience. A lot of fantastic topical write-ins. And you're going to see, I'm a man of my word. When y'all are topical, you're in the show. We have like 20 write-ins this episode, so get ready. You're probably in it. Thank you so much for writing in. If you're interested in writing in, I saw some comments asking. We're over on patreon.com/laststandmedia. It's over there that you can sign up, become a part of our network there, and you can write in on the Defining Duke threads and submit questions, comments, concerns, ideas, thoughts, whatever. Even stories about pooping. There were a lot of poop stories this week. We got some. So it's getting boys humor up in this show. That's for sure. And so, you can write in about whatever, provided you're not an asshole, and we appreciate that. And of course, you can also get early access ad free on Thursdays over at patreon.com/laststandmedia. Otherwise, we're on free feeds: Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, YouTube, all that fun stuff. And then also, Cog, our DDU this week, an in-depth and critical look at Redfall with Jimmy Champagne. What's the Cog rating on this one?
I liked it, man. I liked it. You know, look, one thing I respect you, though, you stood on your square. We try to jump you. We try to jump you. Yeah. We try to sway you. Yeah. We try to get you to come on. Now you were receptive to some things, but some things you still held your ground. Like, I don't know, Cog. They got to prove to me on X, Y, and Z. And I like that episode, man. We really got a chance to break that. Shout out to Jimmy Champagne. I like Jimmy. Man. He's hilarious. Very knowledgeable guy. Brought a lot of insight and one of the horror experts in the community. So
absolutely. And shout out to both of you for your patience. For those who listened, you know, but my internet died mid-episode, so I was recording at home. Heaven forbid I have a day at home. I was like, okay, to the office I go 20 minutes into the episode, so immediately the mic quality changes, and we record the rest of the show here. So it was a funny, good time. Go ahead and check that out if you were a patron. With that, Cog, again, we have tons of write-ins, tons of little follow-ups and snippets, so let's get into it. First and foremost, I missed this one. This was news that was broken the week of the showcase, but it was on Twitter, and your boy was busy making a lot of content, so I missed it. Roundhouse Studios is co-developing Redfall. This is pretty significant because this is the team that Bethesda bought recently and rolled them in-house. Originally, they were working on Rune 2. Prior to that, they were a Bethesda team who was making Prey 2. So we thought maybe this would be a studio that was going to work on their own IP. They are helping with Redfall. Not to say that's the only thing they're doing, but now we have an idea of what they're up to.
Same thing. I just want to know, what are they doing? What are they doing? So now we know. Yeah, yes. I love to know what studios are doing.
Indeed. Next, A Plague Tale Requiem is launching October 18th. This is day one on Game Pass, which is why it's relevant to you listeners out there. And there's 10 plus minutes of gameplay that you can check out. Cog, did you take a moment to look at that?
Staying away because I like what I saw. Nice. Yeah. When I like something, I know it, and I don't want to oversaturate. Yeah, and when I know I already like you, we ain't got to go
many surprises in store for yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, I want to keep that. Yeah, that game looks phenomenal. I'm really excited. Shout out. It's Focus Home and the crew, right? So it's like,
Sobo.
They don't get enough credit. They don't. I really like. Very versatile. Very versatile dev.
Dude, Microsoft Flight Simulator and Plague Tale?
And then Plague Tale, like,
give me that all day. Come on.
That's levels. Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Sobo.
Indeed. Probably a future Xbox studio, but we'll see. Lord Acquisition. We shall see, indeed.
We like to see what's going to kick the tires.
Yeah. You know they got it, right? Like, there's just too much collaboration.
Yeah, they got a lot of collaboration. Yeah, hey, that would be a nice one. And they got that hashtag Just One Energy too that I like.
Dude. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true.
I'm all about it. My Flight Simulator with cloud tech. They're showing me a lot. Hey, we're going to keep dating. See how this goes. Keep going steady.
Dude, I'm excited because Plague Tale is straight up single player. Like, there's no multiplayer in that game, and that's a day one Game Pass get. So, pretty significant one. Looks high quality, and we'll actually talk a bit about the latest day one Game Pass drops on Xbox and if they're up to snuff compared to last year. Next, this is a big one because we had a write-in about this last week. I did say I believe I had read this. It's now been confirmed. Persona 5 Royal will have a physical release on Xbox, and it will include all DLC for the game when it hits Game Pass, as well as the console itself and PC on October 21st. The ports of Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden will not have physical releases for any console. So very disappointing on that front because those games are expensive in their original forms. Persona 3 Portable is upwards of $200 complete in box. Persona 4 Golden is in the $90 to $100 range on Vita. So yeah, this is unfortunate to see, but Persona 5 Royal will have an Xbox case on store shelves. So that's something that users can go out and pick up like COG.
Yes. Salute. You called it, man. You was wondering if it was going to happen. It's cool to see that at least it is happening for 5 Royal. So
yes. This one's for you, COG, the Q3 gang. Steam Deck productions are doubling up, meaning that Q3 reservations will start to be fulfilled. What is the hype levels for you, my Q3 friend?
I'll be honest, man. I'm so cooled off on it now. Like, I'm like the kid outside. Everybody's
looking at the wrong time outside.
Yeah, like, what's that? What is it? The meme? You know what I'm saying? You see everybody, you're in the window, they're outside.
With that SpongeBob, like, we're looking out the window while Patrick and SpongeBob are partying. Yeah.
Yes, literally me. And I'm like, I'm never going to get this thing. But yes, finally, I guess. We'll see. I'm kind of cool going.
Oh, yeah, you have, haven't you? That's a different energy from like about a month ago. I think it'll change when it's in your hands and you see how glorious this device is. Some people's souls were hurt when I said last week I was using my Switch still a pretty decent amount because they're like, you're a Steam Deck owner, sir. So there's some elitism festering in that crowd.
Yes, shout out to, I forgot who it was that said it. That was like, it's the adult. It's the Switch for adults.
Yeah, it is. It is. With how much you can manipulate stuff in that device, it's definitely higher.
I'm complaining, but the techie in me, you're right. Once it gets in my hand and I start to configure and I start messing around, I'm going to come around on it. I already know.
Oh, yeah. This one came in hot as I was writing the show. Azure Striker Gunvolt 1, 2, and the upcoming third entry are coming to Xbox this year. This is from Innie Creates. And I remember someone writing in about this, but then I saw Jez Corden call it a Mega Man successor. And I believe the people behind the Mega Man Zero series were the ones who made these games. So I'm just saying I'm pretty keen on checking these ones out. So I'm going to give them a look. I know there's a pack of 1 and 2. I was looking into it. Available now on PS4 and Switch. So that might be in the cards if I'm feeling a bit impatient because of a certain announcement. I might be craving a little Mega Man right now.
Yeah. There's certain announcement. There might be a need for a certain platform to feel the love on certain things.
Exactly. So Any Crates has us backed up there, Cog. I don't know if you have anything you want to add on that one. I don't know if that's your speed.
Not much. What's funny is I think I am familiar with the Gunvolt. I believe they made correct. I could have my characters wrong, so correct me, LSM fam and you. I remember playing a Master Blaster update on Switch, like the EX, whatever, and I could have sworn there was like some type of Gunvolt crossover. Could be wrong. Could be another character with the gun name in it. But I thought I played with this character. That's what I remember.
They published a game called Blaster Master.
Blaster Master, yeah. Blaster, so Blaster Master is my heart. Like that was the NES joint when you jump in the little vehicle.
Yeah, and now we got Blaster Master Zero.
Right. And I believe it was that. And there was crossover with those characters. And it was pretty cool. And I was playing. I was like, yo, I like this. Yeah,
the art for these games are great.
Yes. The art style is very nice.
Yeah. So that's coming to Xbox. Keep an eye out. Again, it's called Azure Striker Gunvolt for those interested and are Mega Man fans. Katanker Art is our first write-in now that some of our quick wrap-ups are done. This one was pretty cool, Cog. I almost forgot about this one. Greetings once again, Dukes. Not a question, but you may recall I wrote in a few weeks ago asking for your suggestions on a trip to NYC. This is a follow-up just to say thanks for your great suggestions as we had an awesome time. Spyscape was a great idea, Maddie. Thanks, though I must say, it's a little unsettling learning about surveillance techniques and the intricacies of hacking, paranoia-inducing. Soho was a really great place to chill out and rest our feet, so thanks for that one too, Cog. We checked out Birdland, the jazz club, and saw the House Big Band. An amazing experience for me as a sax player, though maybe not my better half. We had many more fantastic experiences, which I won't go into detail as there's way too many. Though I will say I would advise anyone to check out a show called Drunk Shakespeare, where a small group of actors perform a random Shakespeare play, though one of them gets steadily more and more drunk, leading to hilarity and unexpected interactions with audience members. It's brilliant. Check it out. I have heard about this before in the past, so it definitely is worth checking out from what I've heard.
I gotta check this out. Never heard of it.
Mm-hmm. So shout out to Katanker Art. Thank you for taking our suggestions to heart. We appreciate it. We're glad you enjoyed our time in our home city of New York.
Yeah, he's in the city. He's in the Mecca, man. You got to do it right. He got a good flavor in different things. And I could tell he did even more. So that's what's up, man. So that sounds like a fun trip he had.
Yes. Now, Cog, we got to carry this fork and spoon debate a step further with Don Otaku's right in here. And it might get spicy, but I don't know. When I was reading this and deciding to put it in the script, I had a feeling in the air that you and I might see eye to eye on this when we come to a decision. I don't know. Something about this just feels like we'll understand each other.
See if we could put the weapons down.
Yeah. Don Otaku, or Duke Otaku as well, writes in, "What up, Duke Schroeder and Lord Eversley? I know you guys thought this topic was over, but I had a predicament this weekend that I just had to bring to your attention. I went to a local pie shop with my girlfriend, who is usually pretty normal for the most part. She ordered an apple pie topped with ice cream, and I also got a cream pie with ice cream on the side. The pie finally comes out, and we both unwrap our utensils from the napkin and grab our silverware of choice. Of course, being the upstanding, non-croc wearing good Samaritan I am, I grab a fork, but I looked across the table and I see her digging into her apple pie with a spoon. And for a second, I questioned our entire relationship. I questioned her. Why are you using a spoon to eat pie? She replied and said, because there's ice cream. We got into a bit of squabble that ended in a stalemate and no booty for me that night. I need you guys to settle this for me. Fork or spoon when eating pie? And as a bonus, is there any special case scenarios where you switch it up when ice cream is in the mix? Have an argue over cream pie so there'll be no cream pies tonight kind of day.
The dawn is outside.
Yeah, this man's aggravated. So, Cog, we got to start from the top.
Let's go.
You got a piece of pie in front of you, no ice cream. Fork or spoon?
We're doing a fork.
Okay, me too.
Get the texture right, you know.
Me too.
That crust is a little thick, and you gotta dig in. So okay,
I agree.
Fork's there. Let's go.
Ice cream's on top. Fork or spoon?
I think I'm gonna have to bend the knee to spoon gang on this.
I don't know where I sit on this. I think I've done both. I hate to be the neutral party.
You've done fork with the ice cream scoop? With the a la mode?
Yeah, because you got to remember beneath that's the pie, which the rules still apply to what you said, right? Like you got to serrate, it might be thick.
Yeah.
Cut directly through it, right? You have a clear line.
Okay.
I feel like the scoop might smooth things out a little too much, right? You start to bend right when it starts to make contact with the pie beneath, you start to create this kind of U shape within it. And then you have to bang out the fork anyway to like scrape the remains off the plate. So I feel like the fork gets the job done effectively from the first shot. Would you disagree?
Weird. I think I'm on the other side again.
Wow,
this is so weird. You know why? Wow. Because it's like the ice cream feels weird with the ice cream going through the spokes of the fork. That's the only time I've been in it because
I feel like I've done both. Like I
feel like. No.
I was interrupting you. I was just gonna say I just feel like I've done both. Like I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer for this one.
I don't think I've ever done ice cream with a fork. I think that's what it. I think mentally. You know what it is? Like you know how like when you get ice cream, like I've got like one of those professional scoopers, right? So it's like a spoon shaped thing. So I always think spoon mentally with ice cream.
Makes sense.
But I don't think I've ever, not saying anything wrong, I don't think I've ever been in a scenario where there wasn't any spoon and I'm like, all right, I got this fork, I got this ice cream on top. What am I doing? Like I usually just use that spoon and then whatever.
I mean, it's like I'm with you. If you're having ice cream alone in a bowl, and you're using a fork, you're probably a serial killer. Like that's
something wrong with you.
100%. So, I think we understand each other here. Like I'm using the fork for the pie still, and the ice cream's just a casualty. You're using the spoon because you got that ice cream, the right ice cream mentality. So I think, I don't know, Cog. I think we lay the weapons down for this one.
We lay the weapons because what it is it's just basically out of laziness, a default using one utensil for both jobs, right?
Yeah.
So, hey, if you could get it done with that, by all means, you know what I'm saying? I'm the same way. I'm like, normally I wouldn't eat my pie with this, but this ice cream's here, so I'll go all the way through kind of thing. So it is what it is. That's a good one, though. That's a good one.
It is. Now, of course, the audience was quite incensed with our takes on sitting to pee. This is something that we just had to follow up on. I know we're not needing to justify it. The audience has demanded a response, but I just want to make it clear for those who don't care. I mean, go look at the thread yourself. There's a lot of people deeply hurt by our words, our sentiments shared for the men who sit to pee. Alex Castellanos writes, guys, let's clear the air. Men sitting to pee is solely for when you are in your own space. That, I'm sure, is what the gentleman who wrote in last week meant. Otherwise, I'm sure most of these people are standing unless they're truly crazy. The cleanliness aspect is because you are in your own home or office and don't feel like having any actual accidental sprinklage, plus the added bonus of checking recent tweets and the like. Keep it clean, Alex Castellanos. So I think I understand Alex's point here, right? You can sit in your own home. I don't think we made that clear.
Yeah, total alignment. I think I may have briefly mentioned it, and I was just like, look, if that's your house, okay, fine. Like you said, because Alex laid out all the points clearly. It's a cleanliness thing in your house. So I guess that should, I still wouldn't do it in my house, but if it's in your house, I'll let you, that's your business. It's your place.
Yeah.
But outside of that, some of you disappointed me.
Yeah. I mean, we had some really, really fascinating write-ins. I wish I did copy and paste it, but someone had wrote in saying that I was wrong about the way I peed because I'm touching my belt, and my belt is the dirtiest part of my outfit. And I'm just like, man, you're just not winning at that point. Like, why is the guy who's tucked away all day suddenly the villain? But now my belt is, newsflash, I don't wear a belt. You know, I don't got a dress code here in this office, so I'm wearing anything with elastic. So is my elastic dirty? That's the question. And then, you know, I know you talk about touching your phone on the toilet. Your phone's the dirtiest part of your entire household. The amount of germs that catches, and you're touching your phone like this and going, oh, like
that's
that.
That's a good point. I ain't going for it. That's a good point.
I'm just saying, man, like, we got to remember, germs are everywhere. I'm just choosing to ignore ones that may be there, but really aren't consequential.
Bro, I would tell you, behind the scenes, they was coming for you, bro.
Oh, dude.
They was coming for you, bro. They was like, yo, I don't know about your boy. I'm like, look, man, that's him. that's him. That's a lot of sense. He got his technique down. They was like, I don't know. We pull up at the event. I don't know if I can shake his hand. But then, that's what they was saying. They was like, I don't know, Cog. I'm like, oh, man, don't do him like that. Look, he got a technique. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
I never thought of that. When we're like at the next LSM event, I don't think anyone's going to shake my hand. I really don't think anyone's going to shake my hand. It's funny. I consider myself a pretty clean person. So that's what's fascinating about all of this.
We going to go to the event. No one's gonna shake our hands, and he's gonna put Crocs on the table, and make them sign.
Yeah. 100%. Now, we have a scientific angle here that I also wanted to confront before we move into talking about Star Wars briefly. Bart Van Geert writes in, hey, Dookies, some of you may know prostate cancer is the most common cancer among men, except for skin cancer. Why do I say this, you may ask? Sitting down to urinate helps emptying the bladder more effectively and reduces the risk of prostate cancer, cysts, and other health complications. And for you guys who are still not convinced, an empty bladder means significantly lowering your chances of urinary tract infections and much better genital health, which ultimately leads to a better sex life. If you don't believe me, just look it up. P.S. Thank you, Cog, for mentioning the game This Is the Police. Never heard of it before, but I'm addicted to it now. An excellent game. Greetings from a 44-year-old gaming bus driver from Belgium. Thank you, Bart. So the science is here too, Cog. You know, I want to give the audience a chance to defend themselves. We went on their backs and really attacked them. The science is here now. Does this change your positioning for the insistent sitting P-men that you know, look, they're doing it for the health? Do you think they know that they're doing it for the health?
Shout out to Bart. Shout out to Bart for really doing his research. I love you, Bart. I love the comment. Now, here's the thing. For those who suffer with enlarged prostates or those who are in that bracket where they definitely want to be concerned about that, yes, that is an assistive thing. But for most healthy men, there is no advantage. And I did the research too. So my whole thing is this. Shout out to my 40-somethings. You know what I'm saying? Shout out. But the thing is, like, if that's your, if you're in that pocket, by all means, do what you got to do for your health. We definitely want to promote that. And yes, we understand. You know what I'm saying? From a cleanliness standpoint, yeah, you reduce less ability for sprinklage and germs or whatever. But we not gonna act like we're not dealing with a majority of healthy young men in this LSM community.
Oh, yeah.
And not all of them will act like they got some prostate issue.
Yeah, no, we have to lay eyes on the audience. We know who's listening.
Exactly. And there is
20s, mid-20s.
Exactly. We know the demographics. We got the analytics.
We got those.
Exactly. So that's all I'm saying. So the majority of healthy men, there will be no advantage. You know what I'm saying? That's not suffering from that. But no, but he did make a good point. Shout out to Bart. Shout out to you for playing This Is the Police. I'll be promoting that game hardcore. The only person I ever heard talk about it was Mama Mike. And so I was so happy that, like, oh, this is my little cult game that no one. It's a really, really good game.
We were playing that at PAX East before it came out. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
We got your boy Nikki V writing in. Hey, Bukaki Bandit, Barry, and Titty Gobbling Force Ghost Maddie. I love that this has to be like the introduction to this simple question. Maddie, given your LSM's resident Star Wars nerd, I'd love to know what you thought of the Obi-Wan show. I got kicked off the Jedi Council for using my lightsaber to make glory holes kind of day. All right, so Obi-Wan. Have you had a chance to check it out? Did you watch it?
No, I'm waiting.
Oh, you're waiting? Really? What are you waiting for?
I got Stranger Things I'm back into. It's so much stuff right now. So it's like I got to prioritize. So yeah, I'm going to get to it for sure. It's too much part of the conversation not to watch it. So
I liked it. I liked it. I thought it was, it's very flawed. The writing is very flawed. Like it stumbles. It has some kind of ridiculous character arcs, not on level of, in my opinion, like Last Jedi, where, you know, some characters run in a circle literally, but the show create some pretty intentionally weak characters. And look, I view it this way. Many of you know I'm not a TV movie guy. If I can see that some of these moments are very low budget, if I can see like a chase scene in the first couple episodes is very awkward, God, I feel so bad for like the hardcore film and TV critics who watch that. They're probably like face palming. So if I'm catching it, I can only imagine what they're feeling, right? So yeah, there's like some weird limitations. I do think this show brings up the conversation of Disney Plus becoming such a monstrous platform that it's consumed what should have been a movie and turned it into a 6-episode show. That's it. That's the end of the negative.
Okay.
This show has produced some of the best Star Wars moments of recent memory. Yeah, that's the thing. For me, it's a high and low type of show. And granted, episode 3, that's my baby. Right. I love episode 3. It's my favorite Star Wars movie, man. The climax of it all. Anakin Skywalker, Hayden Christensen doing his thing. I love that movie. I've rewatched it so many times. So there is that bias there. But there are some moments that they just play off of what's there in the prequel movies. And especially the last 2 episodes of the season. To me, I was like, this is worth it. This alone is worth it. I never had really any questions of it being worth it, but yeah, it's like, it's weird because episode 4 is terrible. It's such a good idea, but it was terrible. And then you got things like the chase scenes, which were terrible. And it's just like, it's like they had a number of good ideas. Like, all I want, and I'm usually not for this, all I want is season 2. I don't know what they'll do with the plot. Give them more money though, and see what they can do, because they clearly were limited. And I'm like, why would you limit Obi-Wan? Right? Like, Mandalorian had clearly so much money put into it. I can kind of understand Boba Fett being like, let's keep it safe here. Obi-Wan, in the era of people loving the prequels, you go soft on Obi-Wan. Weird choice. But I liked it. I thought it was good. It made A New Hope more impactful. With that and Rogue One in place, it becomes a better movie. And that's all you can really ask for with products that are created to prop that up, which is tough to do. That's an all-time classic. So I liked it.
Well, no, that's big. Great analysis. I definitely got to watch it now, because basically, I know what you mean when you have a show and it's just like, okay, it's struggling in certain episodes. You're like, but then you have those moments where you're like, okay, this was worth it. I'll forgive a couple things for this.
Dude, I'm just saying, there's a part in the season finale. Dude, holy shit. Yeah, like, I don't want to say what for those who haven't listened yet, but just, to me, it was like such a goosebumps-inducing moment. Again, just know I'm a diehard Star Wars fan, for those listening. Like, I love Star Wars, so I'm more apt to like things that people who fucking live off of hating Star Wars. I love what they are doing at times, and that episode had a moment that was like forever locked in my brain, forever, just in a vault now.
No doubt.
All right, let's talk about what we're playing, Cog. I see you got some interesting games here. Why don't you go first?
Yeah, man. Look, man. TMNT, finally. So I remember I told you, I waited, held out for the homies, had to do the 6-player, the whole crew. So much fun, man. So much fun. Because at the end of the day, like, I had to take my Donatello.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Had to do my little... What's funny is when you do the taunts to get moves, and his taunt is like literally pulling out like a Game Boy and going to the side, like total tech geek.
Yeah,
I'm like,
over his shoulder. I love it.
Yeah, over the shoulder look. Yeah. Excuse me, whatever. So we got that going, and then bro, it's just so much fun, man. The bosses that we're doing finding our little collectibles, finding little papers and stuff like that. You got your little cheesy levels with the driving joints was a little crazy sometimes, but
you didn't like those. You didn't like the board levels.
Yeah, because the hit detection sometimes is weird. And it's just like, I'm like, okay. And my friend was like, no, you don't have to be level to, some of the things that you try to hit, you can be above. And then sometimes they'll send those little aerial type enemies where you have to kind of jump up, hit kind of thing. So, but I mastered a few techniques, the slide technique stuff, very huge to kind of crowd control, the double tap run. And then, I just like that there's progression on some level. Like, you keep playing, you keep unlocking, you getting stuff. So I'm playing, then like one of my boys that we haven't played with a while, he comes in, he already got Casey Jones off the. I'm like, come on, man, you can't bring the hot. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The post game unlock.
Yeah, I'm like, you stunned, like you beat the whole thing. Now you want to come in and floss on us with the special cat. I got you, but man, it's so much fun. I really enjoyed that. So we're rocking that.
Defining Duke is brought to you by Athletic Greens. As you'll see in this episode, I'm going to enter it red in the face because I just came from working out my legs. And so, yeah, time was short, had to make do with what I could because the Defining Duke way is health is wealth. And that's why I love Athletic Greens. I started taking AG1 because I didn't have time today to clearly get all my vitamins in. I was in a rush, I was a little bit messy, but that's where Athletic Greens steps in because it's one delicious scoop of AG1 and you're absorbing 75 high quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and aptogens to help you start your day right. And that's personally why it works for me in my busy lifestyle. But also on top of that, it's friendly for all types of lifestyles. Whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free, this is for you. And it costs you less than $3 a day. And it supports better sleep quality and recovery. For those of you working out, this is extremely important. So right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day.
That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/Duke. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/Duke to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
Yeah, it's still Destiny full swing, man. Season of the Haunted, man. It's really, I've been preaching, to you and a lot of other people that don't play, but the narrative is fantastic. There's really some great things going on, and right now it's former enemies becoming allies, and that seems to be a theme. And right now, what they're doing is, without getting too deep, because it's a way too long story to get into, but what they're doing is kind of these redemption arc for very conflicted and tattered, broken characters. And we're starting to learn about people who are very stoic, who don't give you a lot, and they're having to battle some serious demons. This is actually a good thing on mental health. There's a good, bro. It's real, bro. I'm telling you, Destiny being a bag.
Wow.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry. What you can say?
No. I was commenting on what you're saying. I'm impressed. It's not something that would cross my mind.
Yeah, man. So basically, like I said, these characters, they go through, 1 week it's you going through what it is, which is, one was like grief, other one was like what was Zavala's? Man, it was a bunch. It was grief. Shame was Crow, grief was Zavala, and then the anger was Keitel. And saying basically they're going through something because the way the seasons are structured, the overall arc is coming off of the Witch Queen. So you can see they're trying to resolve these issues, which is another serious mini threat. And when we had I got to plug the whole team. I got to plug the last word. Shout out to Bonzi. Shout out to Ty Guy Trevor. We had Bungie, Tom Farnsworth, one of the senior creative directors from Bungie, on. And he broke it down. So basically how they explained it is, you have the overarching narrative of Savathun and the Witch Queen and that saga, right? And then that's going to lead into the Lightfall expansion. Now we have the seasonal content in between. And what they're doing is they're pulling characters and getting resolution to things to prep for the big situation that's going to happen next. So it's all tying, and it's really cool to see how they're doing it. They're hitting on all cylinders, man. Nice. It's really cool. We learned a lot about narrative design with Bungie. He gave us some gems, and they have to sometimes ask permission. It's like, you know what it's like? It's like having the MCU TV series, Disney people talk to Kevin Feige and be like, okay, so where's the overall arching multiverse going to go? And then they got to get permission. Oh, no, you can't use that character. You can use it's certain things. So it's really cool.
That's tough. That's broad too.
Yeah.
Really I can't even imagine that, because like when we're writing our story, for example, it's just like, what do we want to do? Like, you don't got to go up above. So that's tough, man. But that's awesome that it's really thriving.
So what about you, man? We got some interesting games here.
Oh, yes, I do. Just been enjoying a little peak fiction over here. Trails from Zero, 40 hours in. Wow, dude. This series just continues to fucking deliver. I can't believe it. Like, I just can't. And I was looking at some of the announcements that came, some of the games that we know about. 2023 is going to be stacked, and I'm feeling pretty strong that come the end of 2022, my Trails journey may come to its conclusion, because the way these stories are weaving together and the moments that are happening, like for those who have played Trails from Zero, I'm just going to say I'm at the finale. Like, it's split into chapters. There's 4 chapters as an intermission. I'm on the finale, and there is like 8 plot threads right now that are all just like right here at the end coming together. And there's just this moment of what this game does really well is like cutting off the sound when something big happens and it's just silent. You're like, oh shit. And they have this one creepy track that plays, and it's just like, I don't know, man. They have a really good feel for things in this game. You can tell, like, the way they execute moments is better than anything I've played from them so far. So I've been loving this series. I had someone reach out to me on my personal Patreon and ask me about this series. They're like, Zero sounded pretty cool. Can I start there? I just want to make it clear, if you think any of the Trails games sound fantastic, I always tell people start with Cold Steel 1, play Cold Steel 2. These are modern games. You can get them on modern consoles. If you like those, go all the way back. You can have a potato of a PC. It's fine. Play the Sky Trilogy, all on Steam. Unfortunately, no modern re-releases. If you have a Vita, you could play the PSP versions, I guess, but that's not ideal. Then play the Crossbell duology, Trails from Zero, Trails to Azure. And then you could come back to the modern games with Cold Steel 3 and 4. I know it sounds like a commitment, but look, take it from me. I played Cold Steel 1 many years ago on my Vita because I was looking for a Persona-like game. I didn't like it because it wasn't Persona, right? I just finished 4 Golden for the first time. Came back years later because my friends were looking for a new JRPG, and I said, I just threw this out as like a random suggestion. I was like, try Cold Steel. It's apparently pretty good. I didn't like it. My friends love Cold Steel. They blitzed the whole series of 4 games. And they're like, yo, you got to try it again. And I began in 2020, played Cold Steel 1, immediately played Cold Steel 2, took a break for a while because I was going to play Cold Steel 3, but my friends who blitzed the whole series and are caught up with games that are now even available only in Japan were like, no, go back. And there was a political debate within the group of my friends.
What's the debate?
Because we were like, I don't want to go back. I did so many JRPGs. You can't tell me this is worth it if they're making Cold Steel 3 and 4 and these are reviewing really well. They're selling well. You can't tell me it's worth it. I bend the knee. I was wrong. It's been worth it. It's been worth it, man.
Oh.
It's impressive. You want to talk about expansive, universal JRPG writing? This is it. Y'all know how I praise Persona.
Yes.
This is next on the list, man. Like this is up there with some of the greats. You know, it's occasionally the biggest flaw I think it has is on the rare occasion series wide, it will fall into the JRPG cliche pitfall of like the main protagonist being a Chad. I don't know. I think that's very tired, but otherwise excellence on display here. Really good.
Wow.
So I'm almost done with that. And then I'm probably going to take a little break and play some normal games. I've been playing a little bit of Neon White, not too much because, again, a lot of my time has been absorbed with Trails, but Neon White's still great. Very fast-paced, card-based, first-person shooter action. Really cool universe. So I've been having fun with that. That's on Switch. And then the newest launch, Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. Ooh. I did not like Fire Emblem 3 Houses. For those who remember, when it was me and Dustin... Wait, do you love that game?
No, 3 Houses? Tell me why not.
I like the older Fire Emblems. Like when I say older, I'm talking like Awakening is like my ideal Fire Emblem. Okay. One thing that 3 Houses got rid of that I just think is unforgivable, and maybe I'm like the only person who thinks this. I'm usually not that type of video game player, as many of you know. I don't really like video game romance. I think it's tacky, weird, and poorly executed. What's great is that the older Fire Emblem games made it a fun mechanic where you would ship 2 characters. They would have a kid. That kid would have their own like social arc that you could learn more about them as a person, and they would join your army. And so you'd be creating these hybrid units through these kids, and other people's kids could have kids with their kids. And it just kept expanding and growing and growing. Yeah. And what happens is with the older Fire Emblem games, they have it still, but with permadeath, it's like their legacy is living on even though their dad is gone or something. And I don't know, there's like these stories that are told through there. And a lot of that's missing in the current ones. And I could see they kind of chased what made, in my opinion, Persona popular, which is like the school life stuff.
Yeah.
Trying to fit it into Fire Emblem. I love Persona. And there are series that I don't know why they don't take inspiration from Persona. Fire Emblem does not need that. Fire Emblem's a series about war and kind of like how it hurts people. And I don't get why they decide to make you a professor, and the way they execute the gameplay, not for me. Wow. So
first land I've ever heard of 3 Houses.
Not bad. It's just not. I don't think it's that great. But Warriors 3 Hopes.
Let's go.
Shifts that focus back to the war. You're not in school. You're not a professor. You're a mercenary. You're on the road. You're fighting battles. I love these Muso style games, so I always have a lot of fun with them. Guilty pleasure, if you will. And this is an excellent one. It has a good story. Think of it like, for those who have played 3 Houses, you had 4 arcs in that game. Think of these like arcs 5, 6, and 7. So it's not a continuation of the story, but new alternate plots alongside what's already established. So these stories are interesting. They have the support things where you can have conversations with all these different characters and get to know them, which is nice. It's practically fully voiced. And again, the reward loop is really good in this game. Kind of reminds me of how I felt about one of my favorites of all time in the Muso series, which is Samurai Warriors 2 Empires. You know, the collecting of resources and investing them in different facilities around your camp and seeing your army grow and evolve and what you can do with that. They've done a really good job here. And Just a shout out to Omega Force. You know, it used to be like they were the developer. You'd be like, we want to beat them up for our very popular series. Here's One Piece. Do One Piece Pirate Warriors. And it's like, cool. More of a thing I like. But now with like Persona 5 Strikers and Fire Emblem Warriors, Three Hopes, they've kind of become this developer where it's like an honor to have them do your game because they take it now and they make an expansion upon it rather than just like, here's a beat 'em up game. Like they really make smart use of the resources and seem to be more collaborative with the original source material rather than just taking a template and trying to paste series on top of it. So another great game, 20-ish hours into that. So been playing a lot of video games lately.
Nice.
Been nice.
Love the assessments.
Indeed. All right. We got Brian Keith writing in. We're back to the less serious talk here. What up, my dudes? With the discussion of bathroom business policies, I wanted to bring up a question that my girlfriend and I have discussed previously. It's a simple question. When going number 2, do you take off any article of clothing? I personally like to take off my shirt when I'm at home because it's more relaxing, and that way I don't have to hold it up because who wants to droop down touching the toilet, right? My girl thinks I'm weird for this, but I want to know the Duke's opinions. P.S. Back in April, I saw you guys at PAX East. I got a picture with Cog, but I was too nervous to approach you, Maddie, because you were deep in the hunt for retro games. Until next time, my friends, keep up the amazing podcast. I wonder how many people, remember I told you off the air, I was like, yeah, no one really said what's up to me, which I guess maybe no one saw me or recognized me because you mentioned the mustache was hidden.
Bro, you look like a straight villain. Like I wasn't coming up to you. Like it took me a double take. I was like, it's just the height, and then I'm like, oh yeah, there you go. But like, bro, like you had the bro, you was looking different. I was like, yo, did I podcast with him? Like, bro, you look different. Like I'll be honest, like it wasn't so the funny. LSM. You know, when we was at why am I forgetting? Is it Ben? Why am I forgetting? Why am I thinking Butler?
Oh yeah,
you wasn't the Butler. Your face is out. It's fatty. Yay! Mm-hmm. Like, bro, you look like there was a covert operation. You had to get in there, get the games, and then get out. Your energy was different. I'm telling you. So I agree with Brian, man. Hit me up on Twitter, Brian. If you put it up. I think you did. But if you put the picture up, but I did take a couple of pictures with LSM fam, you know what I'm saying? It was what's up. But to his question.
Yes, to his question. Cog, you taking off any clothes while you're taking a dump? What's going on, brother?
Ain't much. You know what I'm saying? Now look, I get it. Like if you're a long shirt wearing dude and you don't want to do the pull up, okay, fine. But it's like, I mean, you know, I'm not gonna go crazy on him on this because it's like, again, if you in your house and look, I'll be honest, like I'm in my house, I'm a shirtless kind of dude. Like I am that guy, but I don't make it my business. Yo, I'm about to go to the bathroom, then like, it's not one of them type joints. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I guess he wants to be one with the ball. I don't know. Where you at with this thing, man? Where you at?
Man, I don't know. I think my rep's on the line here. Like, I got to watch my answer, don't I?
Yeah, they gonna come for you.
Dude, look, I'm just going to own it. Like, I've definitely just stripped down for a dump, for sure. Now, not in public. I've actually, the most savage thing I've done is take a dump in Walmart, right? That's the worst thing I've had to do in my entire life. And when I was there was a dude next to me where I'm just seeing shirt drop like near the stall, socks, underwear, hands on the floor. I'm like, dude, Walmart, man. Like it's just why am I surprised, right? Why am I surprised? But yeah, so I get that energy, but that's a home thing, right? But yeah, no, guilty as charged for sure, man. The clothes are coming off usually, at least the shirt.
So the shirt,
it's a heat maintenance thing. I don't know what it is.
Full shirt, man.
Oh, dude, yeah, just off it goes.
In the public stall?
Oh, no. At home.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Shirt off.
I'm learning.
Yeah. Like shirts on, get in the bathroom, closed door, shirt off.
Yes. Okay. So at home. Okay.
I mean, then your pants are on your ankle. You're like, I'll just kick those off. And I mean, then at that point, it's just socks. So, you know, look, I have a friend, I won't name and shame. I have a friend who says he does everything, takes it all off, takes off his socks too, so he could, I put it in quotes, firmly plant his feet on the floor to prepare himself. And I'm like, that, you want to talk about being one with the ball? That's some shit right there.
Well, literally, that's some. Bro. What? Yo, this is new energy. I've never heard of any of this. Like,
really?
This is great.
Oh, man. The write-ins are going to be great.
The write-ins are going to be crazy. This is next level. Like, we really getting into this. Like, I want to know, like, how are the socks restricting you? Like, how?
I don't know. I keep my socks on. I'm a socks guy.
Yeah, me too. I'm a big socks guy. Like,
you sleep with your socks on?
I ain't gonna lie, that's it.
Yeah, you do? Really?
I do. I try to break out of it because it's really not good to be like, I'm actually getting my was a mani-pedi game up.
Okay.
So I've been trying to, because there's like, fam, your feet, you need to bring these back in here. We got to work on them. I was like, all right. I'm going to chill with the socks. I'm going to calm down.
That ruins your feet? I didn't know.
Yeah, long term, because you got to let them bad boys breathe. And I just love the feeling of new socks. And my joint, bro, dry fit socks. I got an addiction. I love it with the little pattern. They got the little pattern right by the arch. Yeah. You feel sporty. You feel like you could, you know what I'm saying?
Like you could spring right out. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I love that. It's something about a fresh pair of socks, man. So it's a problem. I'm working. You know what? It's so bad. Last thing I'll say, I struggle sleeping barefoot.
Oh, that's a quirk. That's a quirk for sure. I used to, I get it though. I used to sleep with socks. I started taking mine off. Over like college. That's when I started.
I'm learning now, like the last couple of months after I told you a mani-pedi game was trying to get better. I was like, you got to learn to let these joints breathe and sleep without the damn sock. So I'm learning now.
I don't mean to interview you, but what got you into the mani-pedi game? What made you like say like, oh, it's time?
Bro, one time socks came off. And I was like, yo, what's going on?
It was just self-awareness.
It was bad. I was like, the toenails look crazy. Saw a little bunion. I was like, this is not. And then what was, I think I was planning like they was going to do a pool or a beach or something.
You were like, I got
I'm like, the set, nobody can't see these.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? These Croc wearing people can't see this.
That might be where Crocs come in clutch though, because the socks can be off. Yeah.
Now that is where the Croc gang can get their W. You know what I'm saying?
Bunion gang.
But Bunion gang, I was like, nobody can see these toes until I get my stuff together. So I'm on a program. He's like, see me. They were like, see me. She was like, see me every 10 days. We gonna get you right. I said, okay.
That's so good. I love that.
I'm bad, right? I gotta improve.
All right, nuclear prostate with our last jokey write-in. Yo, ahoy, Maddie and Barry. Would you guys rather wear Crocs for the rest of your lives or only eat onion sandwiches until your final breaths? Cog, choose wisely.
Come on, you know you can't be putting me in these type of situations.
Dude, I mean, you got to think of every life moment that a Croc would be on your feet. This may even include your funeral, right? Like you're laying there in the casket with your with the King Rainbow Crocs on.
King Rainbow Crocs.
I don't know.
I'm a surprise Croc gang. There's no way in hell I'm eating onion sandwiches for the rest of my life. There is no way I'm doing that. Jez, I love you. Yeah. But there's no onion sandwiches for the rest of my life.
That's bad breath for the rest of your life.
Oh my, who are you talking to at that point, right? Like, and I'm a foodie. I like, diverse things. I like traveling different places. You talking onion sandwich? Look, Croc gang. Get me something. I saw somebody send me Mets Crocs. I ain't going front. They look half bad. Like, I would never do it. Maddie, I would never betray the gang. I would never betray the gang. You know we together on this. But if it's this alternative, sign me up for one of them.
That's what I was thinking too, right? Yeah. Like, I was thinking of the customization. They got to have sporty, fun options, right? So you could spice it up if I had to wear them for the rest of my life. And the big thing in the comments lately for our show has been this sport mode that they call it, bro. It's so like you want to talk about disrespecting our opinion on Crocs is when you try to sell us on sport mode, which is a piece of plastic that hugs your ankle. I can't, man.
It's like having a spoiler on the back of your sandwich.
Yeah, it really is. It really is, dude. It's so bad.
So bad.
All right. Man. Let's talk video games. Thank you everyone for writing in. We got Not Skywalker who's asking us a question about Game Pass. Dear Duke Wanderers, as we wrap up June, I have a status update to provide on Maddie's 2021 mission for Xbox. Get higher quality games on Game Pass day one. If y'all don't quite remember this conversation, it was largely triggered by the grotesque day one release of the bland, uninspired Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance. So that brings us into the update. 2022 has proven tough for titles to stand out in the ever-looming shadows of Elden Ring and Horizon Forbidden West. However, Game Pass in 2022 has snagged 5 mighty titles day one as determined by OpenCritic's aggregate rankings above 84 OpenCritic rating, the top 10% of reviewed titles. They are as followed: Citizen Sleeper with an 84, Tunic with an 85, Total Warhammer 3 with an 86, TMNT Shredder's Revenge with an 87, and Norco with a 91. It seems they've done a decent job of bringing high-quality titles to the service day one so far, and this doesn't include other well-received titles like Sniper Elite 5. What do the Dukes think? In my eyes, work still needs to be done to bring bigger third-party AAA titles to the service day one, which is why Wo Long was a particularly eye-opening announcement for me. We know the speed of first-party output needs to be bolstered, but beyond this, where do y'all think Xbox should focus on or refine their Game Pass efforts going forward? Cheers and have a I blew up Megaton without emptying the storage in my house there kind of day. That's a special type of hell. Ooh, yeah. I've never done that, but that's I love that they let you do that.
I know. That's hardcore.
So how are you feeling? You know, I know this was something that I got a lot of pushback when I posed this conversation in the middle of 2021, because I distinctly remember calling it a Game Pass problem, but I want to dish it to you first, how you're feeling about what the output in 2022 has looked like for day one Game Pass games, and of course some of the upcoming ones. We just talked about one with A Plague Tale Requiem, and there are many more. So what's the vibe so far?
I think it's been, I think not so Skywalker is on it, man, because like I think it's been solid. It really has been. The issue has just been, you know, the hardcore community. Like we just talked about this on IOP. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you know, we understand the output and what's going on. But the thing is, like, people say, yo, there's nothing there that I want, because from a AAA standpoint, they're not seeing those bombastic titles. And that part's fair. But when you look at the actual output, yo, Iron Chronicle is out here. You know what I'm saying? You know, the TMNT, we talked about all these games. There's a game I'm going to get into. You know what I'm saying? It's like there are games to be played that are really good quality games, but they're just of different genres that gamers, the hardcore gamers, don't necessarily gravitate towards. And it goes to that approach that we talked about with that whole variety approach, right? There's going to be a game for someone that is high quality. And I think it's still on them, though, to, while they're doing that, to still secure the AAA third-party first, you know, release, day and date release. Because if they can get that, now you got the perfect balance. You got the heavy hitter for the hardcore guy, and then you got all these gems that's just filtering in the system. So yeah, I think this is accurate. I think gamers. I think that's why, let's be honest, the Game Pass account probably clapped back. Because, you know, at people coming at them because they're like, yo, there's quality games in here. But what was it? Tell us you don't play
indie games without telling them don't play indie games. Yeah.
You know, it just comes down to preference. But yeah, they still got work to do. But I do agree. I do think it's slightly overblown, considering what's in there is quality of gamers give stuff a chance.
Yeah, I do resonate with what's being said here about bigger AAA third-party titles. I think that's something we've all beat the drum on pretty loudly over the last year. It's something that I was pretty big on starting in 2021 with Outriders and kind of pushing that quality. One thing I will say, and this isn't to disarm Xbox and kind of move the goalposts, but a lot of these titles, Citizen Sleeper, TMNT, I know it's not on this list of top-rated games, but I'd say one of the best games to come to the service is Sniper Elite 5. All happened in the last month. I'd say Game Pass has had a really strong run here in the last couple of months because Tunic was the month before. I think Warhammer was in February. So part of the problem is, if you will, is perhaps consistency of getting the big day one games, because we mentioned how there was potential in delivery of volume and quality with indies. And I think May really showed us that, right? You mentioned Undead Chronicles. That's where we also got Citizen Sleeper. That's where we got Trek to Yomi, which I wasn't crazy about, but I know you really liked, and many others who listen to the show really liked. TMNT was just a month later. I mean, that same month we also got Sniper Elite 5. So I think we're kind of shrinking the conversation down because a lot of these games are very recent for Xbox. And I can't speak to Norco. I don't actually know what that is. But the rest of these are recent. So right now, if we're kind of to set the goalposts here, moving forward, like, yeah, I'm feeling good about the service. We're kind of on the incline. If this is to be what's kept up for the service, because we can expect in 2023 that within all of the day one Game Pass games we're getting are finally going to be those first party titles. So to me, it's about setting the cadence for the third party stuff throughout the rest of 2022. So then that can carry into 2023. And then we're really eating good. But it's been a good stretch as of this last month and a half. And I agree with the idea that like Wolong is a particular eye-catching title. Plague Tale is, and a number of others are. So they're getting there, right? Like I think of, Flintlock. There we go. I almost forgot the name of it. It's another one that looks good. There's a lot of great ones coming in 2023. High on Life. This doesn't look like a traditional Game Pass game, right? Co-op, multiplayer. So we'll see how these games deliver, of course, if they're good. But from the outside looking in, it seems like they're starting to set a precedent of upping that quality, which I'm sorry, even as someone who put Outriders in their top 5 game of the year last year, otherwise, that just wasn't there last year. It really wasn't. So it seems like 2022, they've upped the bar. And I'm hoping in 2023 with some of those games, they'll up the bar again. But overall, I'm feeling good about things. They've delivered certainly in this last month, and I've enjoyed the games that are there. And I've been using my Xbox more than ever. So that's a good sign.
Absolutely. I'm in the same pocket.
All right. We got Logan Jacobs writing in next. This was an interesting one, and I did want to answer it and talk a little bit about it because I did report it to some extent. Howdy from the Texas Dukes. Or howdy from Texas Dukes, not the Texas Dukes. Sorry. Quick question. If I am remembering correctly, Maddie mentioned a while ago when the Mass Effect Legendary Collection was about to launch that fans of the multiplayer should stay tuned for news on the topic. My question is, what happened? Did I miss how this played out? Is a revived multiplayer still coming, or has it been quietly scrapped? I hope it can still happen given the success of the Legendary Collection. Have a you buy Diablo 2 Resurrected to support Vicarious Visions and then they disband them kind of day. Yep, and now that money's in Robert's pockets. Robert's pockets.
Yeah, Robert got a nice little check there.
Oh yeah, he did. So this is something that I did talk about. I was not the original source of this, by the way. And for those who just want a quick background on any reporting I do, my goal is not to build a career off the back of leaks and reporting. I have other ambitions. So because you know what I've noticed, and I'm not saying this like I'm sensitive about things, but like I'll see when I say something that I have learned that is from a source I do trust very deeply, that when I end up on Reddit and they're like, oh, he's just a YouTuber. And I get that type of energy and they're like, this reeks of YouTuber lying energy. And I'm like, look, y'all can believe what fantasies you want. My goal is not to build a career off this stuff, but I'm not in the business of lying. It's just, to me, as I've said from day one, when I was talking about like Jeff Grubb and Jason Schreier kind of being like these main pipelines, now we're starting to diversify it more, right? We got the Insider, we got Tom Henderson outside, right? We're starting to get more scoop. Yeah, Jez Corden. How can I forget Jez Corden? Like we're getting more and more, and that's what I was really for, right? Diversifying the information pot. So for me, it's just bringing information I've been told to the forefront from sources I would trust. So with that addressed, talking about Mass Effect Legendary Collection, I was told by someone who's been correct about many things in the past, one of them being some of the KOTOR remake stuff I was able to confirm through them, that this was in the cards. And I was never told why it hasn't happened yet. I was expecting it last year and the end of the year before that, if I remember correctly, but nothing. It was very strange what happened here. And I don't know if it's been quietly scrapped. I didn't get any responses. For those who don't know, I wanted to make it clear, and I've said this before, that my KOTOR and general source for most gaming stuff has gone cold. So that's why I'm not, again, I don't want to build a career off this stuff. I don't care if they've gone cold. I've reached out about these types of things. But I do want to follow up and just say, like, yeah, this was something that was in the cards that Jeff Grubb had even reported on, because I talked about it with him separately. This was something that was apparently happening, that they were planning to do, or at least toying with. And I don't know what happened. I mean, we could speculate, right, with them trying to get Dragon Age out in 2023, with them trying to get to the next chapter of Mass Effect. Do they feel like they needed to spend time on this multiplayer? Possibly not. I would respect if they said, let's just go focus on doing this Dragon Age game, right? Because they got Mass Effect Legendary Edition, right? Like, no need to muddy that product with
what would be a monetized multiplayer mode. And I love the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, by the way. It's excellent. But I kind of like the idea of them saying, we got this one. It's good. This is like the definitive version of Mass Effect. You can hand this to someone and be like, this is what I grew up with in 2006 and on. And that is it. So if that's the idea, I like it. And that they're just going to focus on Dragon Age. I don't know. But I don't know really what happened. I just know it was supposed to happen, and it's possible they just quietly shut it down.
Yeah, I heard similar things too. So I was surprised that it didn't happen. The thing that is actually surprising is from the EA standpoint, because let's be honest, like they can really milk that, right? They really could. And I'll be the first to admit, I used to be in there buying my little Spectre packs and all this other
guilty as charged.
I was guilty because it had a very addictive cooperative component. So yeah, the only thing I can speculate is, like you said, which is they're looking at Dragon Age, they're looking at Mass Effect. I'm hearing rumblings about Mass Effect in reference to, design, maybe incorporating some Andromeda aspects as far as on the planets. And one thing Andromeda did good, as much as the combat and more of an open kind of thing as opposed to super linear hub. So I'm hearing rumblings about that and the design choices there. So maybe it's all hands on deck, from a resource standpoint. But I am surprised because I thought it would be low effort for them to do it. So hey, who knows? Maybe they still revisit it, but maybe at this point, it's out of the zeitgeist. I don't know. I was surprised.
Yeah,
I thought they would include it, but then again, the last point I'll say,
the window might be closed. The window,
might be closed. And the reason why maybe now it still might not happen, part of Mass Effect, when it was originally designed, was the galactic readiness, and the galactic readiness was tied into the multiplayer component. So being that it's not necessary now in the Legendary Edition, maybe that was the sign that they made the internal decision. You know what? Yeah, we're not going to do it.
Because that's the reason you grinded it, among other things. But to get like the definitive ending, you wanted galactic readiness everywhere.
Yes.
Oop, pardon me. Holy crap. That came right out of me. Did my mic pick that up?
Nah, I ain't hear nothing.
Oh, my bad. I thought I burped really loud. You know when sometimes it escapes you?
But sure, they done silenced that. They silenced you out of that. I don't
know. Does Ben want to boost that is the question, right? He boosted a Colin fart. That's why I'm like, I don't know if that's even audible. Ben, I'll leave it up to your decision if this is something that you find worthwhile. If you don't, I respect it, especially if you're editing this late in the night. Do not bother. But thank you, Ben. Appreciate you as always.
Oh, that's going viral.
Yeah, it's going viral. It's me just letting one out.
Yep. Lock gonna get it. Oh, it's over.
Oh no.
Yeah,
not Lock. No, not Lock.
Shout out to Lock.
All right, time to get into the news for the week. Number one, there has been a growing pile of reports surrounding Xbox game studios with roughly the same sentiment. Xbox is so hands-off that some of their teams are mismanaging themselves into the ground. Whether it be reports on 343, the initiative, Undead Labs, or Bethesda, it has become a consistent topic in the news cycle. The latest is a bombshell by Kotaku exposing the expectedly terrible mess that was Fallout 76 and how much it damaged Bethesda game studios as a whole. Because of that, Xbox has now held a all-hands-on-deck meeting to tackle the topic openly with their teams where concern was growing. In a report, again by Kotaku, Matt Booty, head of Xbox Game Studios, spoke openly on the topic, saying that he was confident Bethesda Game Studios was not crunching, and it is unfair to attribute the crunch culture only to Bethesda. It is said that the meeting focused primarily on Fallout 76's crunch. It did not speak much to the crunch spanning back to games like Skyrim. Here's the direct quote. The challenge with a lot of these articles is that they look backwards, sometimes pretty far back in time. Crunch culture is, if you go back 10 years ago, it's a little unfair to put that on one studio. It was just part of the industry. I don't say that to justify it. I'm just saying it was part of the culture of the industry. I literally slept under my desk early in my career, and we looked at that like a badge of honor. I know from talking to Bethesda leadership that we do not have a situation where people are crunching and we've got this bullying atmosphere. I'm confident about that, end quote. Now, keep in mind that this information was confirmed by Kotaku because they saw a video recording of this meeting.
Yep.
So these are direct quotes.
Mm-hmm.
He then urged employees to trust Xbox's internal processes, saying that all studios have individual support groups with HR departments willing to hear out any issues. It's also worth noting that these HR departments are hired by Xbox and are not considered independent entities. Quote,
There's avenues for them to report that anonymously back to us that goes through HR. We have to rely on those independent systems of checks and balances, end quote. In conclusion, Matt Booty said during all hands on deck meeting that overtime should be limited to personal excitement and passion, not become a mandatory aspect of the production of a game. Kotaku says that Matt Booty did not mention what discipline would come to studios who did not fall in line with these ways. This is important to note because Kotaku's initial report on Bethesda game studios said a lot of the ZeniMax QA crunched due to social and professional peer pressure. Continuing on real quickly, we have a write-in from Bootsy. Hey, Dukes, first-time writer here. Thank you, Bootsy. Welcome to the show. One argument that is frequently levied in support of the ABK acquisition is that Microsoft will clean house, i.e. fire and replace all the people responsible for the company's toxic work culture and environment. However, after recent information, I now have reservations about this. As we're all well aware, Kotaku recently dropped a bombshell article exposing the leadership at Bethesda and ZeniMax for forcing Fallout 76 onto its devs and creating an extremely toxic work environment. This includes Todd Howard, who abandoned his leadership post on the project so he could work on his dream game, leaving the devs beneath him aimless and in the dust. We're over a year out from Microsoft finalizing the ZeniMax acquisition, and it seems all the people responsible are still at Bethesda to this day. My question to you is this. After hearing about this weighty report and Microsoft's seeming inaction, are you still confident in their ability to institute the reforms necessary at Activision Blizzard? I believe they'll get rid of Kotick if possible, as his name is tainted and nobody likes him anyway. But what about all those responsible who remain unnamed? Thanks, and have a no avowed until 2024 kind of day. So, Cog, a lot to take in here. Xbox internally addressing this. We know that they're looking at things and saying, hey, it's unfair to put this all in one studio, saying it's an industry-wide issue that's dated back many years. Kotaku kind of at the heart of this thing, though. Shout out to them. They've been doing some good reporting on this, getting one of the questions I've always had answered, which is what's going on in Bethesda, such a secret company. Now we're getting an idea of it. So how are you feeling about, of course, what's happening here with Xbox, how they're handling their game studios? Do they have a problem here with their first-party studios? And to Bootsy's question, do you feel confident that with what's happened here and some of the potential mismanagement, that ABK is going to be changed for the better?
Whew, a lot to unpack here.
Mm-hmm. This was one of the stories that came in hot.
Yeah, very, very came in very hot. And you know, shout out to whoever's getting video footage.
There's a snitch in the building, man.
Bro.
That's crazy, right?
With this, that's hardcore. So look, you know, the Booty thing, how I look at it is, you know, they have an all hands meeting, right? So that to me denotes a level of seriousness. They want clarity for whatever's going on, whether it be from media or perception or what have you. With the 76 situation, look, we ain't gonna sugarcoat that. That looked bad. That looked very bad. I don't know what was going on there. The only reports I know, and you can enlighten me more, is that, you know, they were really struggling, you know, to get this game together. This wasn't their strength. You know, obviously we heard the reports about God Howard in this situation, and and it wasn't pretty. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, right? Mm-hmm. So this is what I say. There is a part of me that does empathize what Matt Booty is saying by saying, look, that was then, which was with them pre-acquisition, and now it's not the case here. But they're going to be in a tough spot because on one hand, it's going to be, you can't crunch these people, right? We can't have a situation where the industry and people are sleeping on the desks and there's deadlines and there's professional pressure to execute to get the best game or else, right? Mm-hmm. Versus, you know, when, let's be honest, you know, the perception when you look at a situation like 343 is like, yo, what is Microsoft doing? They are not hands-on enough. And I know we have more 343 topics to get into later. Indeed. So they're in a tough spot. This is not going to be easy for them because they're in a rock and a hard place. I will say, in fairness, we have to judge Bethesda from Starfield on, right, to see how these things are applied. How is it coming out? And the only thing I can say is they came out with a date. They didn't execute the date, 11/11, right? That's how I look at it. They were given time, which was dope. Let's see what happens on that front. To the second part, which is, you know, the Activision Blizzard thing, you know, I get the point. Like, hey, I don't have confidence after, this. The same bad actors may be in the building. Valid concerns. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong about that. The thing I will say is I still feel it's better than the alternative. I still feel it's better to have Microsoft own them, and then eventually, most likely, Robert is going to exit the building, right?
Yeah.
We still have to hold Microsoft accountable for what happens to the rest of these studios. That is fair. But I still feel that's a better alternative than Robert being there. And then it's up to see, this is what I like. This is to put a bow on this whole thing.
Okay.
I love these situations because the spotlight is on Microsoft. Now they know people are watching. Mm-hmm. When that happens, generally good things happen that's positive for the studio and the game, right? I like sometimes when people come through with the investigative flashlight. Yeah. Hey, what you doing over there?
Guy in the movie theater.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it'd be sometimes a snitch is good. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because you're like, oh, that's what's going on, right? Mm-hmm. Because let's be honest, the old days, none of this stuff was coming out. People would, like he said, it was a badge of honor. We worked 24/7. Bro, like people were dying. Crunch is real, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a part of me that likes that aspect and that they need to be held accountable. And at the end of the day, we want the best game. So last point I'll say, I don't envy them. Again, this is not woe is Microsoft $1 trillion company. I'm not. But they're going to have a tough thing with crunch and hands off.
Yeah.
And that balance. And my question, what's the repercussion if you don't execute your deliverables?
Yeah, exactly. And, you got to think about, here's the thing is that I think a lot of this wouldn't matter to people if they were delivering games. So it kind of comes at a good time where they can get things right before they start to deliver games. And that could create a much better situation if they help make healthy environments and then these games come out and they are good. You will look like, if you're trying to be a business, optically speaking, this would be a good optics move to fix the studios and try to get your hands a little dirty on fixing them, right? Instead of being the hands-off team that you've been, trying to get some bad actors out, creating a healthy culture. So when these games do come out, you look better. And you want to talk about people who are going to line up to sell to you, that line will grow even more. Here's what I will say, though, is one thing I'm afraid of. Maybe afraid is a strong word. One thing I expect is Bobby Kotick's an easy name to get out, right? Like, he's been in a number of headlines. He's the number one villain. I can almost guarantee he's out of there. He's going to get his golden parachute. And Microsoft will immediately look very good for that. And because of those optics, I wonder if they stop short there. That's what I'm starting to feel will happen based off their hands-off approach. Get out the clear guy who's going to take away from what's going to be a celebratory moment for Xbox fans and the team at Xbox for securing the biggest deal in games history. Get rid of him and worry about the rest later, or take your standard no hands-on approach and let Activision be. Now, again, we have gone back to the point that was made in the Xbox Wire post, which is Phil saying they're going to answer to me. Different energy from Bethesda, which is they're going to operate independently. So the plan that has been put out publicly as of this moment in time is when Activision becomes a part of Microsoft, there is a different chain of command compared to everyone else, like a dog on a short leash. We'll see what the effects of that are. I am with let me get the gentleman's name real quick. Bootsy wrote in the sense that my confidence does wane on this. This is a consistent thing that has happened a number of times. I do think some are more, if you will, nothing burgers than others. I think ones like Undead Labs should not be compared to what's happening with 343, which is like consistently, as we'll talk about, screwing things up, versus Bethesda Game Studios, which had one of the most catastrophic launches that I don't need a scoop to tell me that game was in a horrible development environment. They're all separate situations, but they're all falling underneath the same umbrella. And some of those happening without Microsoft even being involved. Like, you've absorbed Bethesda, right? It's 2020. 2021, the deal's done. And 76 is now 3 years out of the way. Do you go back to that and try to find out who's responsible and start putting people on the chopping block? I think now that you've absorbed them, you kind of set the precedent of if you start to create a bad culture, you start to break the rules. My guess would be that's when you get out, right? Like once you're under their watch and it happens.
Right.
We will see though, because again, it's why I think something like Undead Labs feels like a bit of a nothing burger, because that's been 5 years. Yeah. And I feel like they would have acted on that if something had happened there. But what do you feel about, do you receive it as dismissive? I'm not projecting this because I don't feel this way, but do you receive it as dismissive that he sort of said like, well, that's how the industry always was? Because I think it's fair to say that there was a lot of that energy of like, I put it all on the line. Like, what did you do? Yeah. Because a lot of people say like those games back then, early 360 days, there was a special creative energy, and it's because like everyone was living in the studio working on them. So do you feel like that's been dismissive? How do you feel about really there's currently no plan in place to handle this type of stuff? So what's the vibe for you?
I am torn. This is a tough subject. I've wrestled with it with myself, and I don't know if I have the full answer because, video game development, the more I learn about it, the more random probability there is to it. There's things that come together at the very last minute. There's things that sound amazing, that have the best teams involved, and then they put out a dud. Yeah. Like, it's so volatile. Remember I told you, I always was afraid to jump in it because I was just like, you don't know where this thing's going to go. So the answer to the question is just like, there's one side of me that says COG is pro-developer. Whatever the developer needs, these guys are amazing. These are our heroes. These are the guys that create the experiences that we love. Give them the bag. Let them create. Go, go, go. Right? Mm-hmm. Then there's another part of me that's like, okay, that sometimes great games do require this extra level, right? I'm not going to, I don't like crunch. I'm not condoning crunch, right? Mm-hmm. But I do understand that some of my favorite games were crunched, right? So it's like, okay, how do we get that healthy medium? Because here's the thing. These games cost money. Mm-hmm. The longer these publishers are paying and people are dilly-dallying and things ain't getting done, it has, right? Yeah. So the rubber got to meet the road, right? So it's a tough business. We could sit there and say, definitively, we do not want devs to crunch. So what now? Let's say the game development cycle is like 6 years now.
Yeah, it presents a problem of its own, right? It's why some developers, even Todd Howard's gone on record recently saying like some level of crunch is necessary. And I kind of agree with that. I'm not saying I'm pro crunch, but I agree that when you're working on something you care about in this industry, it just seems like that's just part of it. It really does in some respects.
Oh, some respect there is. Like, again, the only thing I can relate it to is I'm not fully a game dev, right? But the only thing I can relate is IT. Like, in IT, there are periods where it is a cold red, and until this project gets finished, it's all hands on deck for a certain period. Now, granted, it may be a month, to 2 months, where it's just like, all right, heads down, we know what we do. But then you come out the other side, and you're like, okay, back to normal, right? The thing I don't like sometimes that I hear is like, yo, day one, once you in there, it's fire drill all the way through. Those are the stories I can't accept. And that's where I am completely anti-crunch, where the norm is this every day.
Yes.
Right? That's not healthy. And then they looking at you like, yo, fam, you ain't produced. What's going on? And you like, bro, I've been here. I haven't seen my wife and kids, and you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like, and then they looking at you crazy because you like, yo, I'm taking a day for my mental health. Otherwise, I'm going to blow the place. You know what I'm saying? Some people looking at it like, yo, I might catch you outside, producer, director. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hear things. So it's just like, it's a tough one. I don't know the answer to it. All I'm going to say is, the last part I'll say is, I'm very interested in the Activision Blizzard acquisition, especially while they're in this unionization mode. Yeah. And what happens, right? And how does that play out? We're in this weird part. Activision Blizzard deal is so cataclysmic on so many levels. Just to get the deal done, what's going to happen to the fate of the studios? How is Microsoft going to, once Robert exit the building, how is Microsoft truly going to handle them, right? Is it going to be the authoritative? You answer to me, and there's going to be deadlines. And we've seen the female leadership. They put that very up front. How Microsoft, the visual of it. we got to watch and see that thing plays out. It's too early for me to make a definitive statement, but man, I am interested. Yeah. As far as 2023 about to be lit for me, I want to know how this thing gonna play.
Indeed. And I think a lot of our thoughts can develop more with some future stories. There's one about Activision Blizzard we're going to get into next. I think I can really expand my thoughts upon more when I see 343. That I think the kind of general surface level statement before we get deeper is I just feel like it's a tough line to walk, right? You can't ask them to get involved because we saw during the Xbox One generation the price that was paid for that when they were really putting their hands in studios and trying to get things to work. You get a scale down.
That Connect, bro.
Yeah, the Connect, right? The Connect protocol. There's so many problems that can come from it, but I don't know if a problem can come from a protocol of like, people issues and solving those. It's different from a creative protocol. That's why I'm theorizing what I was saying earlier is I think Bethesda is like the start of like the line's been drawn here. When you hop on board, the line's drawn here. And if you start to act out of line, I'm not saying it's like you're on the chopping block right away, but I think maybe that's where a new precedent has been set. And honestly, in all transparency, I could be giving them a long leash on that. It could just be just being inept, like just doing nothing about it.
Lip service. Yeah,
exactly. Because I do like the energy that Matt had about apparently saying that overtime should be limited to personal excitement and passion. Like, look, if you're fired up about something, and I think everyone listening to this show, I know I've personally been in that situation where you're working on something, you're hyped about it, you love it, you believe in the vision, and you just spend extra hours on it, and you love doing that, right? I think we've all been there at some point or another. And I think allowing that is okay. And, I think you said it well, just don't make it mandatory. But what I don't like, and then we'll get into other stories, because I think, again, this is a good topic. A developing topic across multiple stories, is, let's see here. Let me get the exact quote here, because he talked a bit about Bethesda leadership, and he mentions that there are avenues for them to report back anonymously to us through HR. And he said when he talked to Bethesda that he's confident that there isn't anything happening there. And I guess my theory, and part of me for being skeptical, is why would Bethesda pick up the phone and be like, what's up, Matt? We have been working 14 hours a day. Starfield's on a timeline to be 2 months early now so we can hit your Q1 earnings. Like, doesn't that sound great, man? Jim, our lead artist, slept under his fucking desk. Yeah, like, I don't think they're going to do that. So that kind of, I'm confident. They've told me this. I don't know. Is he supposed to fly a plane there and find out? I don't know either. I can't. That's what makes it so tough. But I think I'll spin in circles if I keep on this. So let's cut a little bit deeper, because this situation gets a little more complicated as there's been a purchase Lord acquisition number 2. Here we go.
Yeah. Let's do it.
In an odd roundabout way, Xbox possibly has a new studio entering the fold, provided the Activision Blizzard deal goes through. In a blog post, Spellbreak developer Proletariat announced that the Magic-based Battle Royale would have its server shut down in 2023. What wasn't said was that they have a most surprising future in store for them. According to GamesBeat reporter Dean Takahashi, Proletariat, a team of roughly 100 developers, will be acquired by Blizzard and using its workforce to beef up the World of Warcraft workforce. Blizzard president Mike Ibarra shared the following with the publication, quote, "We are putting players at the forefront of everything we do, and we are working hard to meet and exceed their expectations. A big part of caring for our teams is making sure we have the resources to produce experiences our communities will love, while giving our teams space to explore even more creative opportunities within their projects. Proletariat is a perfect fit for supporting Blizzard's mission in bringing high-quality content to our players more often," end quote. So Mike confirms that this is an intent to acquire. This is happening in the middle of them being acquired. Crazy. Again, 100 new developers, that's a pretty big addition to the already substantial workforce that Microsoft's inhaling. So you have to imagine they had to be at least letting it cross the desk and be like, okay, yeah, that's cool. So this is where it cuts a little bit deeper. It's grown more. It's complicating maybe the acquisition process slightly more. And the World of Warcraft team has grown 100 developers through this. So how are you feeling about
Blizzard's new deal here, which then impacts Microsoft potentially.
Ooh, 2023 gonna be interesting. We gonna talk about Activision Blizzard for a lot of topics. I can feel it.
Yes.
Yeah, this complicates things. I mean, I don't necessarily make it like it's doom and gloom, but I'm not gonna ignore the fact that there are a lot of layers to this, right? There's a ton of all right, from a live service model and an MMO model, it makes sense. You need content. I remember the Destiny days. I remember Bungie, Vicarious Visions, High Moon Studios. These are support studios you need. You need to churn out that content. And WoW is the OG before Destiny, right? So they need this. So on one hand, that shows me that they are really securing the health of the game. Long term, I expect some big things for WoW. Console port, please.
Oh, okay.
I doubt it. It's not going to happen. But
it would help put a second wind in their sales for sure.
Man, I would love that. I doubt if that's on the table. But yeah, I think for the game, this is great. Now, from acquisition standpoint.
Okay, Lord acquisition. Let's see what you got.
Here's the thing. Now, I'm all about Activision doing it for the game, but it is weird, the timing, right? The timing when you're about to be acquired. So the only thing I can say is I can't sit there and say that they probably had this in mind when Microsoft was going to acquire them. It's probably before then. That's what I could think. So this was already set in motion. They're going to execute. But the key in this thing to me that's going to get a little dicey, how does Microsoft manage that, right? I want to know, not that it's impossible, you know what I'm saying? Like they're going to report to Mike, what is it? Proletariat reports to, Mike and Activision, then Activision, to me, it seems like they're just going to be kind of brought in unless,
they're going to build together.
This is a merge. You're no longer a Proletariat, right?
Which is common practice for Blizzard, right? They just did it with Vicarious. They're like, congrats, you're now working on whatever the hell we want you to.
Exactly, right? And I don't know Proletariat's history. I don't know if they made these other, I know about, the Spell Break joint, you know what I'm saying? But
that game was cool.
It was cool. Yeah, I remember seeing it. I was like, okay, this is cool, kind of thing. So, again, it's going to be on Microsoft to make sure that they are able to manage these things. That's the only thing, even though I have to admit, I am Lord Acquisition, but I have to be fair here.
Yeah.
They are, when you acquire a lot, right, it does require care and proper management, right? And it's up to them to prove that, hey, this is what we're doing. Here's the vision. All systems go. It's a smooth transition. They have to prove that because that people are going to say, oh, here's another one. You sure? You sure? That kind of thing. And we got to see.
Yeah. Another 100 developers, another team, and certainly not the last. And it definitely is one of those situations where with the recent news, it can't help but muddy my perspective on it a bit, where I just can't feel super confident that if something on that low of a level happens, how it's going to reach all the way up to the top. It's going to take something cataclysmic, I feel, to bring Phil in. I just get that feeling. And you're right, exactly, that I think there's going to be a lot of stories that are going to continue to pop up. I don't think what happens is when the deal is done, that suddenly, okay, no more bad news about Activision. It's going to be a long-term process. And I don't know if they're going to Bootsy's question before, they're just going to get in there and start really taking people out left and right, making it sound like they're a bunch of hitmen in there, but removing them from their positions of work. Otherwise, I think this is smart, though. World of Warcraft, just from seeing Jez's tweets on the timeline, needs some help, needs some support, and a lot of people want to be excited for it. So, yeah, more support is needed. This is good news for those who are invested in that game. And I'm with you, Cog. I'd love to see them bring that to consoles, because I think of games like these old MMOs, SWTOR, World of Warcraft. Hey, I'm going to throw out an OG one for y'all, RuneScape.
Wow.
RuneScape. And I know RuneScape's got a deal on PC Game Pass, by the way, but RuneScape, bring it to consoles. What could happen there? They're on phones now. Bring it to consoles. RuneScape, man. Sorry, I'll go off track for a second.
No, let's go.
Oh my God. I remember the RuneScape WoW rivalry like it was yesterday. Ooh, I remember it so well. Oh my God. Yeah, bro. The mid 2000s, right? You playing Jagex's RuneScape, you playing Blizzard's World of Warcraft. One had a $15 a month subscription service, which was pretty crazy back then, but had the premium allure to it. It was a bougie MMO, right?
Yes.
And then you had RuneScape free to play. You had the membership option. I think it was $5 a month, but you had the membership option if you'd like. Okay.
And I was a RuneScape guy growing up. So when I look at World of Warcraft, I'm like, no, you're my rival. You're my enemy. Yeah. So in all seriousness, I think it'd be great to see them expand this more. I know some people were kind of disappointed with Shadowlands and the really lack thereof support. So this is good news for those who are involved in World of Warcraft and are looking for more. It seems they're trying to actively address it and invest in it. And that's something that we're seeing a lot of moving pieces over at Activision Blizzard. Particularly, we'll talk about one moving piece with Overwatch 2. So they are a fascinating company indeed to watch, and we will cover them closely as they make all their moves. For now, we move into what was originally our number one story for the week before those two pieces came in. And it's about a fascinating Starfield leak. So let's get into it. Let's get cooking here. It appears we have more information on arguably Xbox's biggest game of the generation, Starfield. The source is one most would be skeptical about at first, as they have appeared on various forums claiming to be a part of the Bethesda Game Studios Maryland design team. These leaks date back to 2018, and this leaker has nailed practically everything down to the small details that we were able to cross-reference in the 10 plus minutes of gameplay made available during this year's Xbox and Bethesda showcase. Just how much of they got correct? Well, let's go over that. So the first post I took a look at was December 8th, 2018, where they said it's about 2 to 3 years away, if that. They mentioned shipbuilding being a thing, confirmed. More RPG systems with leveling by action similar to Skyrim, confirmed with the challenge system. A crew on your ship, confirmed. This is where it gets interesting, though, because this is a small detail that someone on the team, I feel, would know and lends more legitimacy than anything here, which someone could technically guess. That ladders would be a thing with specific ladder animations added to the game, which Todd Howard did confirm in 2021 after the game was shown off in the reveal trailer. So that to me was one of the keys that suggested, above all else that they got right, something worth looking at. There are alternate starts to the game, which was said, and we have yet to have that firmed up, whether it be true or false. And they also mentioned a potential augmentation system, which is less like Cyberpunk, which this is, again, December 8th, 2018. Cyberpunk's not out yet. We've only seen brief gameplay, so not referencing the game, just more so the type of technology. And they said more biotech. Then we skip ahead. It's January 30th, 2019. They spill the beans on Fallout 76's spicy development, but they also say that Starfield will be a classic-style Bethesda game, and that they're excited because they're doing it as their own thing and not someone else's property. So nothing really there, right? Then we skip to June 3rd, 2021, which is ahead, by the way, ahead of the Xbox Bethesda showcase. So we have not seen anything about Starfield outside of the 2018 trailer with the little space station that zips into the galaxy and it just shows the logo. That's all we have at this point in time. Nothing but speculation and a couple of screenshots that had leaked for Starfield after the acquisition by Xbox. They say a crew can man the weapons, repair your ship, and even go down on planets or moons and build their own settlements. That would be a new feature. They said they're ditching the Fallout 4 dialogue system and that your character wouldn't be voiced. That was confirmed by Bethesda Game Studios after we saw the gameplay this year. They said they're using procedural generation to create planets and moons and explore any of them with a lot of empty space on them. Confirmed this year. They said there's a planet to planet plot, confirmed this year. They said there's a loading screen hidden by a cloud layer, and then you enter the atmosphere, which we saw with the cutscene transition, confirmed this year. They said you could fly the ship in the planet's atmosphere, so not just in outer space, but above settlements, if you will. That would be a new feature. They mentioned there are rovers, so think of the Mako in Mass Effect 1. That would be a new one. That would be huge. And I mean, with how much spaces there is, you have to imagine that's a thing, right? They said there's a settlement takeover system. This would be also new. And this was something we saw in Fallout 4's Nuka World, where you could take over settlements with the raiders. And then they say also, they don't have a number for it. They said 9, but they are unsure. There are intelligent alien races, which has been a highly debated topic in the Starfield community because people are looking at it saying maybe they just meant aliens as in, you know, the creatures you're fighting, but that there's only people there. But this leaker saying not. So, of course, trust test, COG.
with what's here, the timing of it all, the stunning accuracy of, I'd say 95% of it, and then the new features included there, are you buying in? And if so, are you excited about what you're hearing for this game?
Oh, I think we got a good snitch in the Oh, he telling. Oh, yes. Look, generally, when there's a game I love, I'll take what I can get, and then once I have enough, I'll fall back, right? We talked about that with Plague Tales earlier. In this case, Starfield has been an enigma on some levels. We got to be honest, right? There's some levels, at anonymity. So, to see the timeline and you break it down before things are revealed, and when you have little intricate things like the ladders being mentioned, right? And things like that only someone that I think from a developer standpoint would really try to stress and specify.
Yeah.
Man, this is exciting stuff. This is exciting. Now I'm be honest. My hope was when I heard about Starfield, the sci-fi, adventure, Skyrim in space, and God would have been more than satisfied. More than satisfied. But now, you giving me Mass Effect energy. You giving me.
I tell people this No Man's Sky shit's got to stop because it's Mass Effect. It's Mass Effect.
Thank you. This is master. They are taking cues from one of the goats. And bro, they're talking about a crew, and then the crew could do independent things with the settlements on their own. You get crew members. That is a Mass Effect thing. Mako on the. Then you talk about the ship in the atmosphere around the planet. That's fire to me. So again, y'all can head with this No Man's Sky garbage all y'all want. Ain't doing none of that, bro. So like I said, it's so funny because people just expose themselves all the time with this No Man's Sky. Bro, this is fire. Now again, assuming the snitch is correct. And it's hard for us to not believe when he's saying a lot of these things in the timeline before reveals. Intelligent races, so we Batarians and you know what I mean? Now you talking my talk.
Yeah.
And it's an open let me calm down again. Okay. Again, work on your frames, work on your engine, but the scope of this game and what this game is trying to do, bro, I watched your video smiling. I was like, oh my God, they got this. And if any of this is true, I'm coming for y'all No Man's Sky game. I'm coming for y'all. I got the receipts. I got all not LSM, but all the people on Twitter, all the comments and the fresh hot takes. Yeah, we're going to see. We're going to see because if they execute this, in theory, this sounds phenomenal.
Yeah.
Just make the gameplay good and do that classic A-Team Bethesda energy. Man, I'm excited, man. And I like that the dev said, he said, fans said Starfield will be a classic Bethesda game, and they're excited because it's its own thing. So it still has its own flavor. There's a lot going on here, man. This is exciting stuff. What's got you hype? I'm beyond hype. We're about to wear Starfield shirts to get him piss him off.
Yeah, they're right back here. Right back here. Don't worry.
I was like, I'm about to piss him off. I'm gonna ease up on him. Wait for more things to get officially confirmed.
Probably Gamescom. The shirt's coming back, right?
Oh, it's coming
back.
Resting
it after about a month of wear.
Hit that deep laundry clean.
Yeah. It hasn't been washed. I'm not washing it until that game's out because it's
Jesus.
I just wear it here during the show. I take it off and I put it back there. It's right on top of the defining Duke plaque. There's Duke energy in this shirt. We cannot. If I do that, the game will get delayed again. If I wash it, the game will get. I'm superstitious. The game will get delayed again, and it will be bad. We need to keep the shirt here in its spot.
We'll calm down.
So, yeah, I mean, provided this is true, which I think at the very minimum, we can go out on a limb and say, like, okay, I'll entertain this. We'll see if it ends up being true. To me, I think what really excites me is what the AI can do in this game, because to me, that's what I don't know if it'll be fun, how interactive it'll be, but the idea that I could be flying, questing, doing my thing, come across a planet that I had previously interacted with, and they've like built their own settlements with their own lives. And it feels like things have really evolved while I was away. You want to talk about a living, breathing world that feels next gen, like that would be it. And on some level, you'd be reaching what I think the settlement system should have been in the first place. And
if they got the bow on top for me, the cherry on top, sorry, putting a bow on it would be if they said like these settlements can produce their own unique quest lines. Like that to me would be it. Like if I always say it, because they had a settlement happiness level in Fallout 4. And I was like, if you maxed it out, that would make sense in the universe. Like, this is a great place to be in this wasteland. And someone hears about your settlement, the time you put in, and you have one unique NPC per settlement that shows up and says, hello, I've heard of this wonderful settlement, and I have a quest for you. If they could do that in Starfield, even on, because I know there's thousands of plans, right? So it's not realistic to have it for every settlement.
Sure.
But just unique people visiting your settlement that you build because they've heard, because word is spread around the galaxy. To me, that would be the cherry on top moment. If not, I imagine modders will do it. But, you know, it's one of those things that I'm finally seeing Bethesda reach into inspiration from their modding community. It's something that I think they had too much of an ego to do. So what they would do is just avoid what the mod community did. And no one got it. No one knew why. But now they're reaching into the modding community bag. Like this is kind of like SimCity inside, I think it's New Vegas, I want to say. But they would build their own settlements. And that was so cool. Fallout 4 has it as well. So I just feel like that alone sounds next gen. Just that the world is alive, building and interacting with itself while you're off doing something. That's crazy.
That is amazing. Now, let me ask you, did we get confirmation again with part of these leaks / rumors that also the settlements can like lose control of a planet or something like that? Was that part of it where it's like, I thought I heard something. Maybe I got my rumors mixed up, but I thought I heard something that not only, you know, could it grow, but maybe like control can be lost or something like that with other things going on in the world. I don't
think that was said, but that would make sense because there are space pirates, the Crimson Fleet. And I would imagine that they're just going to show up to some of these settlements and try to take them over. And especially because you can join them, I think they're going to function like the Raiders, but in space on a mentality level. And they're going to say like, hey, you know, we're going to attack this settlement over here and take it over. So to me, that just adds up with what Bethesda has confirmed. So maybe that's where the lines got crossed for you.
Yeah, maybe it is. And, listen, any even if that's not there, and I'm so with what you said about the settlement system being expanded into this kind of a vision, even if it's just purely your people and they're growing, because now you're given living, breathing world and colony energy, right? And that to me that feels next gen. Those are things that I like to see AI, you know, tech utilized in that way. And now the procedural generation stuff doesn't feel like this negative to me, because if there's actually NPCs, now I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I tell people, calm down with the bad faith comparisons until you get more information. You don't have information. You're just going off the cuff. Let's be honest. Some people have agendas because they want to hate for whatever reason. But let's get more information. But so far, the stitch seems to be on point, and we're going to continue to monitor this thing as we move forward.
I also just want to say I love the idea of vehicles on planets. I said it like right off the get-go that this is something that makes so much sense. When I saw how big the planets are, I'm like, there's no fucking way any reasonable game designer looked at this and said, you're going to walk the whole planet. There's no way. That's why I was like, I know there's got to be vehicles. And that's the thing is I always told people with the Starfield reveal, they're like, this is all they've got. I'm like, they got more to show. They showed the highlight reel like any developer does. They've shown their big cards for sure. But there is so much more we don't know about. Whether this leak is true or not, there is so much more we do not know about. They would be stupid to show everything here in June when they know this game's coming out in 2023.
Absolutely. And then here's the thing, and you know, shout out to my Mass Effect community. You know, the 1 versus 2, we always battling, right? But one thing that people love about Mass Effect 1, even on a base level with a barren planet and little waypoints, people love the idea of exploration on a planet and moving in that Mako control, but moving in a land vehicle, right? That's what people, it felt like space. And I'll give Mass Effect 1 guys that. That is a nice feel. Now, it was, some of the stuff was barren, whatever, but at least you had quest lines. You had things that would happen here and there. And listen, man, like, I think one of them was Bring Down the Sky was a great DLC. Like, you could do things. You don't have to have every planet populated with everything. Some planets will be resource type planets. But if you could have those quests and things that could happen in a settlement and a living system in conjunction with a Break Down the Sky level type questing that could happen on certain planets, hey, sign me up, baby. I'm going to live in this world. Let them execute this thing.
I just hope they stick to landing, right? That's all we can really cross our fingers for. Because I think what's clear is if this leak ends up being true, but even if it's fake, what we've seen is that they're feeling ambitious. They're reaching for the stars, pardon the pun. And it's just really about if they can, on a tech level, stick this landing.
It's the tech. That's for me. Yeah.
Number 4. This kind of cycles back to the conversation we were having in the first 2 topics. Let's talk about 343, man. Man, I think we both got the same energy on this one. 343 has confirmed they are exploring microtransactions for Master Chief Collection. As the game wraps up its 8th and final, keep that in mind, this is the final season of Master Chief Collection support, a post on the Halo Waypoint breaks down 343's reasoning for exploring monetization in this monetized free video game. As we've shifted away from seasons, what has previously been named season points, points earned by completing challenges and leveling up to unlock items, will eventually be renamed Spartan points in a future update. Over the years, the MCC has been continually supported with new content. The game now features well over 1,000 plus individual customization items spanning armor, attachments, nameplates, weapon and vehicle skins, armor effects, firefight voices, and more. That's quite a lot. Now, I'm going to stop the quote here just so we can put a cap on this real quick because Cog's wearing the cap. We're capping hard because what is happening here is they're letting you know, look what we've done. Isn't it great? They are setting the tone.
It's the setup.
To deliver to you shit you don't want to hear. So when you read it, you bite on it, you go, yo, they did treat me really well.
They did do me right.
They did do me right. So we get into the next chapter here. For players who are new to the MCC or may not have dedicated much time specifically unlocking the items during the seasonal updates, or are simply completionists looking to catch the last outstanding items they need, we are exploring internally a potential new feature in the form of purchasable Spartan points. It is prudent to note here that we are happy with the current system of how players earn Spartan points by completing challenges and leveling up through play. This would be an optional additive alternative for players who might find the vast scope of content to be an intimidating amount of playtime and want to get ahead on or skip the grind, or maybe want to grab specific items they want. We all have our favorites. It's hard for me to finish this write-up because of how fucking ridiculous that last paragraph there is. Heaven forbid, I just got to throw my opinion out there real quick. Heaven forbid we fucking work on the progression system and make it better. We're going to charge you money. That's the only thing we can do. Sorry, if you got to sound it off and do it real quick.
Go.
Okay, we'll keep reading. Okay.
You read it, please. This is great.
I can't, man. Holy God. All right. In the interest of transparency with our dedicated and passionate community, we wanted to inform you of this exploration in advance and provide assurance that purchasable Spartan points would be an additive feature. We will have more information to share about this in the future. Now, it doesn't end there. This all looks worse when looking at Halo Infinite, which continues to have a mountain of issues piling in front of it. After a Reddit post featuring the game's, after a Reddit post was uploaded featuring the game's melee desync, clear as day, senior sandbox designer Brian Berryhill chimed in, saying, I just want to comment that we appreciate these types of compilations. Videos like this always get pulled into the bug/task threads for the UCN networking improvements. I don't know if Twitter/Reddit is the best place to go into all the details about why there's been a lack of UCN improvement. There's a lot of factors, so I'll keep it brief. The TLDR of it is the devs that would work on these fixes have been allocated to other Infinite work. Their work has had some knock-on benefit to our UCN solution, especially around movers like players, vehicles, etc., on object devices like elevators, pistons, bridges, etc., but not around the melee and around the wall shots. These devs are coming home to Sandbox soon, in parentheses they put, hopefully. The community and competitive insights team have done an amazing job at letting us know how frustrating these kinds of situations are. It is high on our priority of fixes. Okay, let's start off with the top one. Ryan Goldner writes in, hello, Maddie and Cog. With 343 announcing they are looking into monetizing the Halo Master Chief Collection, will they make online free-to-play with Infinite? I find this appealing that they would shift their focus from adding much-needed features to their incomplete title to an old game that has no cost and is set free to play online, simply because that's where the players are. Will Xbox make this free to offset things? Hog, I mean, I sounded off pretty quickly because it's very hard to hold back. You know, there's a lot to take in here, plus Ryan's question. So how are you feeling about potential microtransactions coming to Master Chief Collection, which has had free updates for 8 years now? The silence, the disappointment says it all.
Bro, where do I begin?
I don't know.
And this situation, I'm literally shocked. I'm literally shocked we are where we are right now. You know, this game came out on my birthday, November 15th. Mm-hmm. It is June 29th as we record this. This game has desync issues, the melee stuff with Halo Infinite, you know, the PC community is very upset. Mm-hmm. So from a core gameplay standpoint, right, there are some broken issues that need to be addressed, right? And doing this live service thing, and I've watched Bungie go through it. The one thing you've got to get right, it reminds me of D2's launch, and the player base was irate. They were like, why did you do double primaries? This is wrong. That's wrong. PvP's in a bad place. This glitch, that glitch, whatever, right? And the core thing was, look, we can't in our right mind talk about new content and what we're going to do and how we're going to monetize until we fix the core issues that are plaguing the game, a complete revamp. Now, to 343's credit, they are the most transparent company about what they're doing. I have to give them this. Yeah, they will tell you, oh, no, we're not going to do this. They're working on other things. Mm-hmm. But the messaging, I'm sorry, this is so bad because, bro, like this is laughable bad because you're tone deaf. Like, you're tone deaf in the sense that the last thing people want to hear about, even if this is for Halo, a separate game, right? So technically, this is a separate game. Mm-hmm. The last thing people want to hear about is how you thinking about monetizing anything. Yeah. They're going to come to you and say, bro, you just sold me a car with 3 tires. You know what I'm saying? So please fix the tires before you go back to the old, you know what I'm saying? The old joint trying to give me a new feature to it and sell me. So
go off.
It is marketing tone deaf. I am sorry. I like 343. I think the game is good. I keep reiterating, the game is a good game, but there's fundamental issues. You cannot do what is going on like that. This is why I say all that to say this. This is why people talk mismanagement. It's because of you. You 343 right now seem to be the problem child. I don't know what's going on, right? Clearly, there's a messaging issue that you're transparent. On one side, you're positively transparent. We like that. Yeah, your blog posts are the most detailed blog posts I've ever seen in gaming. Yep. I'll give you that, right? But the focus is just really incorrect, and I don't know how this is allowing to get out. Right now, I have heard things, and I want to be clear. You know, when Master Chief Collection first came out, which was an utter disaster. Yes. Let's be very clear.
Yes.
I remember PlayStation fans who were on the fence with the Xbox One. Shout out to King. We had this conversation that they were waiting for Master Chief. They was like, yo, that's going to be the game. That's going to get me to buy an Xbox. That's the history of Xbox.
I'll always remember that announcement, bro. That was so exciting.
Bro, right? And
it felt unbelievable at the time.
It felt magical. And we were like, wow. And then the fact that shipped, not tested out the door, if they knew that or not is another story. But again, this is on your jacket. This is like a rap sheet. You have this thing. Now, to their credit, they turned this thing around into one of the greatest comebacks, and they continued to support it to where it is now. But I got to be honest, Maddie, and I saw your video. To me, I could just tell what the perception feels. The perception is Halo Infinite player base is low.
Yep.
We're seeing everybody go here.
Yep.
So while we're on to put the final finishing touches on the way out and leave this thing forever, let's think about making you pay for something on the way out to facilitate something. The optics look bad. Yep. It just does. I don't know what else to say, man. Like, I'm pro developer. I'm always going to ride, but this, if anyone wants to use mismanagement and COG will not fight you, when the numbers 343 come up, I will bend the knee. I don't know what's going on. I don't. It's just, what is this? And here's for as big as they are, and I hope the resources are in place, why is it taking this long? Why is it taking this long to fix core issues? Forget monetization. The core needs to be fixed. So yeah, this is bad. I'm sorry. There's no sugarcoat. I can't positive cog this. I don't have much to say. Get it together, because it's a shame. The hard work for people who put into this multiplayer that I know, there's hard work that people that did to change the narrative that I know. You marketing them, whomever, is doing them a disservice by putting out blog posts that talk about we thinking about making you pay for something in a game that got more population than the new game we just dropped.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah, man. And for a fact, just to add on to what you said there, that they're going to do it. Like, they're putting it out there because they're going to do it. There's no doubts in my mind, because kind of like what you said and what I said in my video is that this infinitely, pardon the pun, makes Halo Infinite look like a weaker product because of it. It would be, to me, a catastrophic decision. And I'm not trying to oversell it if they decide to put microtransactions in MCC, because right now, I think for many people, that's kind of like the familiar, safe Halo outlet alternative until Infinite gets fixed. There's people still playing, generally speaking, a lot of Halo. When you look at the player counts between MCC and Infinite, there's a large gap, okay? Clear as day, there's a large gap. But there's still a lot of people playing Halo, so the love for Halo isn't gone. The patience for Infinite's gone. You panic responding to that and saying, well, we're going to monetize MCC since you all have decided to go over here until we fix Infinite, and then we can have our cake and eat it too when Infinite's up and running and MCC is running as it always has, and they're both monetized. It's a long-term business play that it's not the time for. It's not the time for this. I get it when you want to do it, but this is not it right now. 100% against this. It's not even a microtransactions thing, because I did read some of the comments on my video. Some people were just like, yeah, look, I'm older. I don't get the time for this. I will pay for this. And I respect that mentality. But here's the thing, is that in that blog post, when I blew up there, that's authentic shock, awe, and anger from your boy, because the fact that as game designers, and again, this is probably where you're right, Cog, marketing is really coming into play. No sensible game designer says the alternative is to make them pay. They think about how to make the core system better. You innovate upon it. You don't say, make them pay, because that's the way around this problem. That is a bullshit shortcut that, again, at the root of this, makes Infinite, which has a mountain of issues piling in front of it, look really weak now. Now you look desperate, right?
Oh, bro.
Now, no one's going to be rooting for your comeback. Sorry, go on. What were you saying?
No, listen, you're on fire. Look how things... All right, let's check this out. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm looking at most played games. And that on the Xbox platform, because before people would tell me COG is not that bad. Yeah, Steam, whatever. But on Xbox, it's popping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Matter of fact, just name it. Fortnite. Modern Warfare, Fall Guys, Roblox, Grand Theft Auto, Apex Legends, Rainbow Six Siege, NBA 2K22, Minecraft, Destiny in the top 10, Dead by Daylight, Forza Horizon 5, Ark Survival Evolve, Rocket League. All this that we have not called Halo yet. Call of Duty Black Ops. Red Dead Redemption 2 is more played right now. MLB The Show, Elden Ring, and then there is Halo.
Infinite or Master Chief question?
Infinite. Infinite. And Master Chief, remember, we still didn't, remember, this is just Xbox, so we don't know what Master Chief Collection will be really doing well on PC. You know what I'm saying? We don't have the PC number, because I know on Infinite on PC, it's just, that's another thing. But bro, 2, 3, 4, that's like 20, it's out of the top 20 played. It's like 20, almost 25th. That's not good. This game is free to play.
Yeah.
Free to play. Multiplayer.
The most played Halo game ever, by the way. 20 million plus players.
Yeah. This is unacceptable. They got to figure, and this is the only time when we talk about mismanagement stuff that I want to know what happens. What happens when deliverables consistently don't get met? What happens with 343? I'm not advocating for people to get fired. I'm just advocating on what's going to happen, right?
You know what
because I did. What you go advocate?
I think you shared some of this energy, and I'm starting to come on board. It's time to put them on something else. I'm not saying you gotta like let them go, but like it's time to find them a new home for a franchise to work on, because they are doing damage to the most valued Xbox property right now until probably something like Starfield or Elder Scrolls rolls around. This is why I tell people all the time, this is why the front of the Xbox box that you see in the store will not have Halo front and center, because they are running it into the ground. It sucks because I haven't said my positive piece, which is just like COG, that core game, sandbox elements of Infinite. Dude, you want to talk about capturing that Halo spirit? And in the campaign, by the way, the combat evolved energy. Oh my God, man. I mean, yes, the silent cartographer vibes are there. I'm about it. Y'all just heard me last week say I've played Halo Combat Evolved. Like, the love is there from many of us. But 343, I mean, I guess really what I got to say is, with issue after issue after issue, and then now I'd say an incompetent decision, how long does the leash got to be?
Yeah.
How long does it got to be?
How long does it be? What happens? And remember, we just came off the showcase where they didn't have anything to show for it. It was non-existent at the showcase, right? So again, I can only infer that you're still not ready with the new content or whatever it is you choose to show. And like I said, for the people who are ragging on the Dukes, it needs to come out. Are you happy now?
Oh, that look.
Like, bro, I got killed. Delayed. No, you shouldn't delay.
I was the same way. Yeah, I was the same way, man. The sensationalism really got people. It really.
Yeah. You want 20th anniversary? I get it. You happy now?
Yeah. No, dude. I mean, I get it, because I remember when I dropped my review, I'd put a 32-minute review out for Halo Infinite, and I called it a solid finish to 2021. I liked the game, as we've documented here on our show on my personal channel multiple times, but a lot of people did not like the solid energy. It had to be great. It had, again, sensationalism won the day in that December, because it had to be great. It had to be the anniversary. It had to come out. And now here we are. And I don't think they're forced to make this decision. Clearly, they're being forced to make this decision with MCC, which is, you want to talk about a game in a perfect state right now.
Yeah.
I would argue MCC. The amount of content they've delivered, hats off to 343 on that, right? They not only recovered the product, but made like the definitive Halo experience there, which is hilarious given what's happened in the long run. But when I say that, I mean, like, all the games are there. They got the remastered versions. You can flip back to the originals. Like, I don't like some of the graphics in like the Halo Combat Evolve remake.
I love that feature.
Right. I love that.
So cool.
Huge, right? And there's so much there. The firefight from the Flood was added in the last couple of months. They've taken maps from like Halo Online and just put them in the game. They've taken Forge modes and made them a part of the game. Like, amazing support. To me, this would be like taking a shit over 8 years of hard work to get to this point and just leaving people with a bad taste in their mouths after all the goodwill that you've earned. And the thing is, again, I get the long-term play here. If they were to eventually do this, this probably wouldn't be a problem. It's like right now, you're down bad. And when you look desperate, now all you're going to do is people go like, well, it was fun while it lasted. You are not going to bring more people in. You're not. It's not good right now. It's not looking good. And look, I know we've seen what happens with the MCC, right? We just talked about how 2014 down bad season. What the hell's going on? It ends up being one of the most celebrated Halo games. But it goes back to what we've talked about with these games coming out, where how long do we have to wait consistently for them to reach the true vision? And I want to quote our friend Miles Dompier, who came on the show a couple of weeks ago.
Not the Miles.
Talked to him on Twitter about this. He said the most frustrating thing about this is that it shows Xbox didn't learn from the launch of games like Sea of Thieves and Gears 5, right? These games that struggled out the gate, that had their, either in the case of Gears 5, a lot of tech issues. As much as I love Gears 5 campaign, there's a lot of issues on the multiplayer front. Sea of Thieves, shout out to Ben. Content barren at launch. Fun framework, though. Once that came around, though, it stayed around. Infinite has yet to get there, and we'll see if they do. But it shows that with those launches, they didn't look at them and go, we don't want to have this slow and steady long-term buildup. Let's get it right at launch. They haven't learned from that. And I think that was one of the best things I've seen said about this situation is Xbox not learning and getting it out at the zeitgeist, right? You always talk about, I love that term, the zeitgeist of Halo, right? The anniversary for Xbox. Hey, look, that was a fun time. I'm not going to complain. That was a fun time. And I get it, right? But the idea was that what was marketed to us, and I know you agree with this, is when that multiplayer was dropped early, the vibe, it's ready. It's ready, and we got more on the way. Because how often in this industry do you see games moved up to release? That's the ready statement. That's a different color light, right? There's red, yellow, green, and then there's like pink, I guess. That's like, we're moving our game up. We are good to go. You know, the only game I can think of this year is Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which moved up a couple of months. Otherwise, I think of The Evil Within, like it's insanely rare games are moved up because they take so long. So that's the message that's sent to your consumers. And now here we are. So it's clear that business is guiding Halo, a big flagship franchise, way too powerfully, and it's managing it into the ground, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's the question, right? The has the business aspect taken over, and it's like, look, we got to get this bread, we got to recoup or whatever, and it's that, the scenario. And I just want to be clear, last thing before we move on, it's just that I'm very frustrated with 343, absolutely, right? But I want to be clear that I do feel, I've had this conversation with King and others, that I do feel because it is 343 and it is Halo, that it does permeate, it reflects bad on everybody else who may not be having these issues like a Playground and Obsidian and Coalition and the Turn 10. And it just, because they hold this responsibility of Halo, right? It really emphasizes even bad. I'm not minimizing it, but I'm just trying to say, I still want to be positive to the other studio who are in the house doing their thing. Yeah. There's a lot of people in the house doing their thing still, but we have this situation that we got to deal with.
I want to read 2 write-ins here. We'll kind of combine them because I want to just talk more about Halo Infinite as a roadmap. First is Joseph Troxler. Hey, Maddie and Cog, wanted to write in about Halo Infinite. I recently hopped into a few matches after a long break from the game to find core issues with the game are still there. Quick resume still doesn't work. You unlock next to no items without the battle pass, even after 4 to 5 matches played. And more importantly, spawning in the sights of an enemy is still a thing. The issues the game continues to have, I gotta say, what the hell is going on with Halo Infinite? The game had bones, it showed promise, and with a desert-like roadmap ahead until Season 3, it's not looking good. Interested to hear your thoughts on where the game is and this franchise as a whole sits with you guys. Keep it real and have a delightful day. Then, James Hill writes in, hey, Double Ds. It's time to say the quiet part out loud. 343 needs to be removed from working on the Halo series. The latest article from BGC just reinforces this sentiment. VGC reported the Melee desync issue isn't being worked on because the devs that would work to fix this issue are busy doing other tasks. Besides having T-Rex arms, I'm constantly getting disconnected, spawned in front of enemies, missing mantle. See, again, there's consistency here of people's complaints across patron write-ins, and others have reported guns jamming. The Halo series has been in complete shambles ever since 343 took over. Halo 4 was mid, Halo 5 was Halo in name only, and Master Chief Collection was an affront to God. Infinite was launched without core staples like co-op and Forge, and has been one of the worst battle passes to ever grace a live service game. It's like Nintendo making 4 bad 3D Mario games in a row. I think Microsoft has 2 options. Gut 343's current management and change the company's lack of workflow, or give Halo to one of the COD studios. Wouldn't that be a twist with that type of rivalry when the Activision Blizzard deal goes through? What are your 2 thoughts on what should be done about the Halo series? Have a COG is outside my house kind of day. So I wanted to talk about this because what really putting a bow on this conversation, what do you do with 343 now, right? We know, as the write-ins have indicated, Infinite's in trouble. Infinite's not getting fixed. There's a lot of options on first-person shooting talent in-house. id, Machine Games, they're busy, right? But id, Machine Games, Activision is coming in soon with a lot of first-person shooter talent, like Raven Software, Sledgehammer, Infinity Ward, Treyarch. And the reason I bring this up is, in my opinion, the last best Halo game was Halo Wars 2, which was not your traditional Halo game. RTS-style Halo game. Now, 343 was involved. They co-developed this, but it was not them. Creative Assembly helped on this one.
Creative was back in the mix.
So I want to know from you, Cog, you're sitting there, you're Phil, you're Cog Spencer, okay? You got to make the call. 343's future's in your hands. Do you leave things as is and trust them post season 3, which I know right now we're not sure what is waiting for us at that point outside of core staples we were expecting? Or is it time to let this franchise run loose a little bit and kind of take the Marvel Star Wars approach, is what I was thinking. Like, you do a Halo game, and get some fire back in the series in that way.
This is a tough one. I hear the alternatives, and I know we got really great studios in the building. I do, and I understand the sentiment, that they gotta go. I get that. It's all. I can't fight that. I can't. Right? You're like, they gotta go. Here's your resume. Okay, I can't fight it. I will say, if I'm Phil, you come in the room. I need some apologies. I need some accountability. I need some what's going on? Right? You tell me why this is in the state that it's in, and I want to see why we got here, right? Because this is not the first time. And when it's not the first time, now we got to look internally at maybe the actual creatives or the people that are in the building that may need to be elevated. And me personally, I'm going to Staten. I'm going to be like, look, bro, we brought you in, you came through, to kind of just get this thing across the finish line from a narrative standpoint. Yeah. Right. You are the Bungie tie. Right. So to me, I'm giving him the ball because let's be honest, without him, we wouldn't even got the 1 year delay. Yeah. Remember, he was supposed to come out before this. Yeah. With Craig face.
Obviously would have been worse. Right.
Right. So he kind of salvaged it. Right.
Sure.
So to me, it's like, let's sit down. Where are the weak points? What are the resources we need? Let's cut bait with that. What's not working? I'm sorry. This is the type of business we in, right? At this point, you have to have an assessment of what's going on and what's working and what's not. And at that point, we really do. I think I don't take them off the franchise. I know it's going to sound controversial, as mad as I am with them, but I do feel we need a structural shakeup, big time, because what's happening is just not working. You know what I'm saying? We have evidence, right? It's not working in the timely fashion, right? So what do we need? And we'll bullet point this thing, right? He bullet pointed it last time. We need this, we need that, we need more time here. Okay. And I'm invested in Staten because that's Bungie. Yeah. That's the tie. That's the guy when we were great. Halo 2, and that's the guy. So we got the guy, listen, the guy was so passionate and sad to see what 343 was doing with his baby. He came out of retirement.
Yeah.
He was like, oh no, y'all not doing this. Not to my child. How can I help?
Yeah.
That was the words. Mm-hmm. How can I help? Give that man the control and let's see what we got. And I'm not being disrespectful to anyone. I can only go by the evidence and the resume that you show. And right now, this is not good. It's just not. And I just got to be honest. That's what I'm doing.
I respect that take. I think you clearly have a team that knows how to make a good feeling Halo game. I think Infinite can at least say that for itself. I think that game feels really good to play. And it's a shame because I sank the hours in real fast, like easy 80 to 100 hours into that game. I would have put more into it, but it just didn't have the content to really keep you fully invested. It just feels like a very stagnant product for releasing 6 months ago, a little bit more than that. For me, I think you keep 343 around to work on Halo. Ideally, I would like them to work on something else now, but I don't think that's realistic. Okay. But I think you need to inject new life into this series. And if they want to work on Halo games, so can some other people. I think my mantra would be 343, you are no longer the sole handler of this franchise. You will handle part of it, but you are not going to be directly responsible for these things. You are no the Halo team. That would be my orders. I just can't wrap my head around. If I was Phil, he's been around since 2014 working on this thing. So he's seen from Halo MCC on. I don't know what foolish confidence we've got in this team now to say, like, keep going. You got this. I can't, in good heart and consciousness, keep putting this team that's clearly the task is too tall for them at times. Because, again, a huge supporter of the gameplay systems there. I like the idea of maybe where the story could go, although it ended a little too open-ended for me. I like the potential there. But again, the vision there and then in that moment was, we're doing better. We have things ready because of how it launched, how it was delivered to the public. Clearly that wasn't the case. So this could even go up to Xbox as well. Just like, what are y'all doing allowing them to do this? What's the call there, and why? So to me, it's clear that, again, to restate, 343 can make a good Halo experience in Infinite. Mm-hmm. They can take that feedback from 5 and 4 and be like, okay, bend the knee. We receive, we understand your criticism, and make, as a core, a product that's very appealing to Halo fans. It checks a lot of the boxes, right? Great gameplay, sandbox design, free to play, sounded alluring on the outside. I think it's corrupted the core of it a bit, but they seem to get it, right? And that's why it's like, do you strip them of that? Maybe not. I'll go back and forth with myself on that. But should they be the sole handlers of Halo? No. Halo deserves better. This defined Xbox. And that's why I've been saying, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, so I'm sorry if it sounds this way.
Oh, you preach.
Why I said, though, that, sorry, but like next up, Starfield, Hellblade, Avowed, Forza Motorsport. These are the games that will decorate the next generation of Microsoft gaming.
Did say that.
This is not Halo's time, but Halo could have been a part of it if it was handled better. It hasn't been. And now you got to go into the recovery mode. And what do you do that? Inject new, refreshing creative energy in there. We've talked, you and I, we've had questions written in about what cool Halo spin-offs we could get. Turn-based style, horror-based first-person shooters with the Flood.
Killer Instinct on as a character.
Killer Instinct, yeah, sure. Halo fighting game. I know this is going to sound ridiculous at first, and we'll talk about this franchise in a moment. I look at Sonic, right? Not a perfect franchise by any means, but Sonic's never been more relevant than ever in its death throes, right? How crazy is that to say something like that? Sonic has had flop after flop. You look at the reveal of Frontiers, you look at the issues with Origins, you look at the movie, which was kind of mid, and look where they're at, because they're injecting creative energy from everywhere. It's more relevant than ever, despite them not putting out their best work, which was in 2000, in my opinion. So I can't sit here and understand the business reasoning for putting Halo
in just the hands of 343. And maybe it was a step in that direction when they went, we're going to move forward with this TV series. We're going to team up with Paramount and we're going to put some new blood in there. But we didn't see the Witcher effect that all these companies are looking for. Like, oh, the Witcher show on Netflix is great. Now let's hit the peak player count on Witcher 3. That's what's not happening because that show, I haven't watched it. Cog, you can leave it to the review. Didn't seem to be that hot. But I won't say that because it's like not my call to make if I haven't watched it. Right. So I'm rambling now. That's my concluding point is I think 343 should not be the sole handlers. They deserve Halo. I think they made MCC fantastic. They seem to understand how to make Halo great with Infinite, but I think it's a task too tall for them. And they're a huge studio, which is why it's shocking. But I think more ideas like a Halo Tactics injected. I know it's kind of like Halo Wars, but more of that energy would be great, in my opinion.
Yeah, like I said, we got to see how this thing gonna play out, man. Because you're making very compelling arguments, and they're very hard to dispute on any level because we've seen other. I guess the last question I have for you is that in the history, like it's like someone said, like having 4 mid Marios in a game, but Mad Mario games in a row. Just like, have we seen this before from any other major franchise that has it been taken over by someone else? Has someone forcibly, you know what I'm saying? Like what, Kojima Metal Gear? I don't know. Like,
yeah, right. That's a good point. Yeah, I'm not expecting, that's the thing is, I know they expected of themselves and I totally understand that as a creative, but I didn't expect them to reach Bungie levels. And maybe that's the mean thing to say, but I expected greatness. That's a completely separate thing. And you could find your own little pocket in the Halo universe and create your own identity there. We saw a smooth transition with the Coalition with Gears. I maybe smooth is generous. Some people are not crazy about the new vision of Gears. I thought Gears 4 maybe a little safe when I replayed it. Yeah, I loved it at launch, but a little safe on a replay. You could see kind of had a little bit of Force Awakens energy, I like to say. I thought Gears 5 story was fantastic, though. I love that campaign. And it's a shame what's happened with the multiplayer for sure. There's a lot of frustration with that. So I know the transition of these IP is tough. And I know I credit Xbox for trying to not abandon things and keeping around like their pillars. I think there's something to tip your cap at with that. Yeah. But, when you look at, like your other God of War, like every series goes through their struggles. Like, sticking with God of War, like you have God of War Ascension, right? Like that wasn't for many people that great. I kind of liked it, but it wasn't like God of War 3, God of War 2. It wasn't like that bombastic, right? And that's when Santa Monica their backs were against the wall, right? They were struggling. And so I think even at like their lowest, though, it didn't feel like they were at their death of the series. It felt like there was still room to figure things out. Of course, you got to account for the PSP spinoffs as well, like Ghost of Sparta, Chains of Olympus. But
Chains of Olympus.
My point being is that I feel like Halo's in a very specific incident where each of the launches have been highly controversial. It's not been like two sides, right, battling against each other. It's been like highly contested, bad launches. And I will say this in their defense. As kind of my concluding point, I'm curious if you feel this way. Halo 4 multiplayer was not fantastic, but I think overall the product got a bad rap. I thought the campaign was actually more fun than people give it credit for. I know that's a bit of a hot take. Not a lot of people love the Prometheans, but I thought Halo 4 wasn't that bad because I remember when that game came out, it was a feeling of like, okay, I can get behind 343.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a looker for its time.
Yes, it still is. It's incredible looking.
Oh my God, yeah.
There was encouragement for the future. Did they stick the landing? No, because clearly the multiplayer died off really fast. And so they've become such a responsive company, right? They went all in on Halo 5 multiplayer, and that's what kept that game alive. And guess what happened to the story? So I could go in circles on this. Is there anything you would like to add?
Not much to add. Just, again, I am going to watch them from a repercussion standpoint if deliverables continue not to be met.
Yes. We will monitor it closely and we'll see what happens. Number 5, I wanted to talk about some of the Nintendo Direct mini announcements. I focused on the ones that are coming to Xbox or PC or not coming to Xbox at all. So not every game from the Direct mini will be here, but let's run through them quickly. And then we got a bunch of write-ins. Pac-Man World Repack has been announced. It's coming out this August. It's a remake of the PS1 3D platformer that is coming to Xbox. Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. It's real, it's happening, and it's not coming to Xbox. Sonic Frontiers. They revealed some more linear cyberspace levels, and it's sticking to its holiday window. I have some thoughts on the conversation for that game. And then the next game that was there that is accessible to our audience is Harvestella, a action RPG life sim arriving in November of this year to Switch and PC, November 4th. Let's start off with Unkempt Talk. Hey, Dukes, the recent Nintendo Direct showed off more of Sonic Frontiers. Do you guys have any updated thoughts on this game after seeing more footage and the inclusion of more linear focused levels in their cyberspace dimension? Also, with Persona confirmed for Switch, what's the gut check on Persona 6 releasing on all platforms at the same time? Will Sony pay up for launch exclusivity, or is this the moment where Persona becomes mainstream and a household name after releasing on all platforms? Thanks for the great show, and have a can't find the Vita charger kind of day. P.S. Shout out to Mega Man Battle Network getting a collection on Switch. I'll finally check these games out, Maddie. My man on Chem Talk, thank you. Appreciate you. All right, Cog. First, your feelings on Sonic Frontiers. Highly contested reveal over at IGN when they kept rolling out the trailers and the open world gameplay. Wasn't looking hot for a lot of people. They show off this new trailer for Switch. It's looking a lot better now, suddenly. The conversation has shifted. I have a little bit of a stroke my ego moment, but I want you to go first before I do that. Please.
I kind of want to hear the ego stroke.
So I can't do it publicly because, I mean, when I say that, I mean, I can't showcase anything to prove it, but I text my friends about games all the time, right? And when Sonic Frontiers was shown off, everyone in my friend group was like 8 guys was like, nah, this ain't it. This looks like shit. Fuck this, Matt. And I've become a Sonic fan this year. I have.
No, it's so funny.
I know, right? I've had a major turning point in my Sonic arc where I used to hate this franchise and I played the older games. I'm like, I get it. I like this guy a lot now. And I love Shadow. So I saw Sonic Frontiers and I was like, oh, I'm about the vision here. Come back to the group. I'm like, yo, boys, how we feeling about everyone against it? No. This is bad. They got to kill this thing with fire. Even one of my friends, die-hard Sonic fanboy. Nope. Looks terrible. I just want a good Sonic game. He's telling me I don't get it. I don't get it because I wasn't around for all the launches. I'm coming in late. He's like, you just don't get it. Well, we're getting disrespected, right? And I said, my exact statement was that Sonic Frontiers, they gave them an old demo that looks like shit. It doesn't show well. I said, this game is definitely further along. Their last game was Sonic Forces in like 2017. They've had about 5 years to work on this thing. I said, word for word, and I wish I could just show people. Word for word, I said, they're going to show a linear level of the game, and suddenly Twitter's going to be like, oh, this looks really good now. And lo and behold, what happens? They show the linear level, group chat lights up. Yo, Sonic Frontiers looks pretty good, huh? Yo, check this out. Check these comparison shots of the IGN footage, which based off what we saw in the Nintendo Direct trailer. I'm sitting there just like folding my arms like, I saw this from the very start, right? You think of Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, right? He's just looking at it. That was me in that moment, right? I'll do it myself, is what I said. I will Sonic Frontiers success in with my own hands. And I did just that. So my feeling on Chem Talk is that I think the game from the start had great concepts, great ideas. I was like, if they delay it, cool. But I don't think it's going to need a delay because this reeks of just old game footage. Lo and behold, what we saw in the trailer looked pretty good. Cog, curious if you feel the same. I doubt it, but how are you feeling about Sonic Frontiers?
You called it because I ain't gonna front. I was part of your friend crew in the beginning. I was like,
it's fine. It happens to the best.
I don't know, man. It ain't so good. But yeah, this new joint like fire. Yes. I was like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Look, God, kudos to you for being able to discern, like, yo, that's potentially like an early build. Because I was worried. I'm like, oh no, he built up all this positive energy. The movie's out. Everybody's so
it's so
Sonic, right?
You know, here's the thing. Not to interrupt you, but if I could get on my Sonic soapbox for a moment, y'all are complaining about these floating rails, and I'm playing Sonic games back to back, right? I played like 6 in the last year. Okay,
talk about it.
And there's so many moments where the rails are just floating in Empire City, floating in Pumpkin Hill. No one's batting an eye.
But now that they're floating in cyberspace, clearly where these levels are distorted, like you could just tell based off looking at the edges of the map, like things are fucked here. People are like, no, my immersion. I'm like, it's a Sonic game, dude. Come on. Give it a rest. So I just think some Sonic fans, they might be a little miserable. I don't know. That may just be me projecting a little bit. Sorry, I interrupted you though. Go on.
No, you're good. You're good. I think it's because in the 3D Sonic era, there's been a lot of bad energy. Yeah. So you're like, oh, they done messed up again. It does have that energy, yeah. Right. So it's something about 3D Sonics that the hardcore be like, you really got to prove to me. And I think we came in extra tough, but in their defense, to me, it did look initially a little shaky.
I understand. So I'm not this Italian.
I don't know. And when you love something and it don't hit strong, you're like, oh, they done, there it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the Will Pawns are back at it again. Yep. And then here you come with the Steve Cohen energy. You're like, nope, it's a new end.
I got the money, don't worry.
I got the money. I'm telling y'all. And yeah, this dude's showing fantastic. Now to the second part, if we moving on with the Persona part. I think Unkept Talk, I'm going to make a bold prediction. It's not that bold. But I'm going to say, like, I think Persona 6 is coming. I think it's over. Like, listen, I know we're going to talk about this Mega Man thing, and I get it. Right? And a lot of people teasing, hey, Cog, I thought it was a new day on Xbox. All right, cool. But here's the thing. You know, these deals, and what people got to understand is these deals, we look at things in a vacuum sometimes, right? And we like, yo, how are they missing out on this, right? When it comes to Persona earlier and when it comes to Mega Man, which we'll get into. And I don't think it's that. My gut tells me these deals were contractually 4 or 5 years in the conception stage of the game when the game was announced. Now, whether someone took a bag and someone, you know, that's another thing, right? But I can't, with good faith, based on what I'm seeing Xbox this generation, say Xbox didn't try hard enough. Xbox didn't go out there and try to secure this. They've shown they have. So when I see a game in these scenarios where they're not included, that's the energy I'm going to give. I'm going to be like, okay, that's contractual. Someone is taking a bag and I can't knock that, right? That's the game. Now with Persona, things have been mended. Contractually, maybe things have ended, right? Now, Microsoft in this regime, in the conceptual stage of a Persona 6, is like, we're going to be a part of that. So, like we showcased these nice titles for you. Yeah. We gave you a nice bag on Game Pass that was beneficial to you for an older game. Yeah, we'd like to be at the table now for the conversation for the new stuff. The new. Yeah, that Yakuza, that new one, and the Persona, and all you Atlas guys, you got to come see me now. And I think that's what it is. Now, Capcom, we got to talk about later. But Persona, I'm my prediction, 6 date. I'm not going to say day and date Game Pass.
Yeah.
I'm going to say day and date release.
It's coming out.
If they do Game Pass, that's a megaton.
Yeah, that'd be megaton. I'd be off the walls.
Right. I'm going to say release. We won't miss the game anymore. And then the eventual come to Game Pass 6 months, a year, whatever it is after.
Yeah. Sega's seen the light with Yakuza. So I think that's a good prediction. I'm with you. Yeah. I don't think I have much to add there. That I think Persona will come day and date. I think for me to evolve my thoughts a little bit further, I need to remove an obstacle, which is we need to talk about Mega Man, right? So I just want everyone to take a moment. My video viewers, just take a look at the phone case here. This is the PET from Battle Network. So if you ever question my fanship, it's right here on the back of my device. Look at my pop socket, man. It's literally Mega Man Zero Axle. Come on now.
I'm going to let you go. There's only one person. Like I said, you and Ebontis are the only 2 people that I know. That's why Ebontis loves you. Because you guys are Mega Man guys.
Let's go, Ebontis.
Continue.
Yeah, so finally this gets revealed, right? Like you just look at, I love that. That's nice. Finally this gets revealed. You look at the lineage of Mega Man collections they've done, the Legacy Collection 1, Legacy Collection 2, the X Collection, the Zero and ZX Collection. Clearly they're knocking them all down, right? I think the biggest sign that they were going to go back and do them all was when they took the Game Boy Advance games of Mega Man 0, 1 through 4, and the ZX games on DS, and were like, okay, we're bringing these to consoles. We're bringing these to PC, bringing these to Switch. Enjoy them, have fun. To me, that was the biggest sign that things were starting to change for the series and that they weren't just going to do the X and Legacy collections. Because for those who don't know, dating back to the PS2, they've done these collections, Legacy and X collections. So it was when I saw Zero, I was like, oh, they're going to go through with it all and modernize all these games. So me being me, the beggar I am, I was like, give me my Battle Network. Finally, they do it. Coming to PlayStation, Switch, PC, no box. RK128 writes in, hey, Dukes, any thoughts on Xbox getting left out of the Battle Network fun? It's odd that it's not getting an Xbox version when past collections did release on the platform. So yes, every Mega Man collection I've stated for all of you that had a modern re-release all came to Xbox. This is the only one that hasn't. And right now, Capcom making me look like a prophet with my prediction on our new era of Xbox JRPGs, DDU, where I sat there and I was like, I don't know, Cog. I don't know if I'm going to buy into this new regime right away. And I said, I feel like I'm moving the goalpost, but suddenly
yes, you did say that.
It feels like it's a little justified because I'm just like, here we go again. Like this seems like an easy one, right? Collection, there's history, this is obvious, but it's not obvious. What I'm going to guess before I talk about the game itself is maybe Capcom looked at the sales for the Zero collection, right? The amount of time it takes to port Game Boy Advance games, bring them to Xbox, make it work. Maybe they saw the Zero collection sales and went like, yeah, this maybe not this time around. Maybe the base isn't there. It's not selling well enough to justify the time spent on the port. I'm not sure, but what's your read on things? This, again, seems like a really obvious one to come to Xbox. It's not, given the rest of the collections are. So what's your feel on things?
Yeah, I think this is how I feel, because there's a part of me that wants to say, well, maybe it is just, it doesn't sell well on the platform. And they look at the analytics and they say, it's not justifying the port. But from what I hear, once you have a PC port and and the PlayStation port, the porting is not, from what I hear internally, is not as difficult as people may make it seem. Indeed. So, right. So all I'm going to say is that with this situation, I'm still going to die on my contractual sword, meaning that the past regime, whether it be maybe these deals were done during I don't want to say Don Matrick era, but early, right? When Microsoft really wasn't aggressive enough to try to be a part of these conversations and may look at that and say, hey, because didn't these games initially it started on was it Game Boy?
Yeah, this was a Game Boy Advance game. Yeah.
Right. And, listen, there could be a shot that they didn't aggressively do that. There could be. Or it could just literally be, which I'm more leaning towards, more Capcom, which is like, yo, right now, we trying to get this bag the most we can get it, and we gonna put it here, right? You know what I'm saying? And to me, there's certain games. This is where the argument gets weird, because it's not consistent. Because if you want to say that Xbox is not selling and that's the reason, then why the hell are you putting the other games over there? Right? Why are the other Mega Man games there? Because if Xbox is not selling, then you wouldn't put anything over there. Right. Yeah. So that's the thing. There's too many gaps. So when I see a gap here and a gap there, then that I can only infer that contractually that it was not in place and Xbox was not part of the conversation when the initial game was designed to be announced and so on and so forth. That's the only thing I can think of, because it doesn't make sense. If Xbox makes absolutely no sales, then don't port anything over, right? Because they're the last of our concerns. We're going to stay on PlayStation. We're going to stay on Switch. The fact you took a PC, you see what I'm saying? So my gut still leans towards said publishers, you know what I mean? Yeah. And even in the Capcom's case, Street Fighter V, we've seen it was on, the PlayStation exclusively. I'm not saying it's evil Capcom. I'm not going to go there, but clearly there's some internal decision. The same thing with Atlas. They had to get that worked out. And I think maybe they have to come to the table and say, hey, what do we got to do to fix this problem? And sometimes it's just about this.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. It's interesting because, again, I don't know if I agree on the contractual level, not to devalue your argument, but just
tell me.
No, I guess it's because it's like, well, if they all were there already, then to me, it's just got to be a sales thing. Like otherwise, I don't think it makes sense. Because to me, in my head, when I talked about Mega Man Battle Network Collection, I'm like, it's Switch exclusive. Like it's a Game Boy Advance game. But then I fought myself because, again, the Zero Collection's existence is what really changes all this. We're talking about 4 Game Boy Advance games and 4 DS games, and they come to Xbox, they come to PlayStation. I'm like, okay, so their workaround for it was multiple filters, multiple screen sizes to kind of emulate that Game Boy Advance experience. So they did put effort into making these games improved. And if anyone remembers listening to Finding Duke, when I played Mega Man Zero, game is hard as nails. Like they put quality of life enhancements with like checkpoint systems in there. So there is a number of things they do to make these games better. And it's why I'm surprised with Battle Network, which seems to have the smallest amount of changes. They're like, here's every Battle Network game that came out, but they're not adding any new features. They're just saying like, there's going to be concept art, a soundtrack gallery, and that's it. Like, have fun. And to me as a diehard Battle Network fan, I'm like, don't change anything. Like these games were amazing. Right. But again, it just goes back to the point of, it just seems like it doesn't, I just don't think it would. Maybe they saw the sales for Zero, the effort it took, and they just went, no. And it may just be that simple. Might be like an Occam's razor moment. Like the simplest explanation is the most probable one. And
it's possible.
Maybe. Possible. I don't know. It just seems like a weird omission in the wake of what we just learned about Xbox's commitment to Japan, that something that's consistently there isn't there. Doesn't make sense.
No, you're absolutely right. And that's where the confusion is, right? Because it's the lack of consistency. Because to me, this announcement comes after. I know it's not apples to apples, but this announcement comes after Street Fighter, where I myself was like, yo, I don't think.
That was a surprise too. It's a good point. I get what
you're saying. Like, I was like, I don't know if Xbox going to get it. We're going to see. And it was like, I remember watching the PlayStation Showcase and looking for a PS5 only logo, like, what's going to happen? And I didn't see it. I'm like, wait a minute. I said it on stream. Like, you think that may mean it's multi-plat this time? So what's the analytics there that says...
fighting games, right?
You did it. Xbox don't even have a fighting game history. And they were omitted the last time. So again, I hate to play the blame game, but if I'm guessing... I'm still leading at Capcom. Something's going on with this decision.
That makes sense. Yeah. Alex Dies Twice writes in, pointing the finger at me. He says, hello, Dukes. This time I come calling out Maddie and some other users. On his recent video commenting about the Battle Network collection, he mentioned that while it was a shame the collection wasn't coming to Xbox, caught in 4K here, it didn't matter to him that much because he wanted to get the Platinum anyway and was going to get it on PS5. Doesn't this defeat the purpose of asking for ports of these games on the platform? If a game's simply being made portable on the Switch, even when it's going to run horribly, and a simple Platinum deterring users from getting on Xbox, what's even the point of getting these games to come to the platform if the support and playtime is not going to be there? By the way, this is not just regarding Maddie, but it is not the first time that I heard the comment of, it's cool that it's coming to Xbox finally, but I'm going to get it on Steam, Switch, PlayStation because of XYZ, from people that have requested these games on the platform. I'm personally going to get Soul Hackers 2 day one on Xbox on the hopes that we keep getting Atlas games. Best, and hoping you have a great day. That just brings me to a whole other issue, which is like, I was hunting, digging, searching everywhere for the Somnium Files Nirvana Initiative on Xbox. Online, it was already $90. It wasn't available in 5 stores I went to, so I had to get it on PlayStation. I think part of the issue here is also production. It's just like these games are rarely produced on a physical level, and that's why when you look up JRPGs on Xbox, Xbox One especially, they're expensive, because they're hard to come by. The ones that I see that are of a reasonable price is like Dragon Quest XI, which is popular on Game Pass. So it like kind of feeds into itself. So Cog, what do you think about this? The kind of, it's cool that it's coming, but I'm going to go play over here because of XYZ, or, it doesn't matter because I was going to get it over here anyway. Do you think there's many of us, and this may be a leading reason, just broadly speaking, why certain games don't make it to the platform?
I mean, it's anecdotal to just say, because you yourself are going to make, Maddie himself is going to make a decision to continue.
Followers away.
I don't know if his data makes the trends of how it goes, because on Twitter, people are going to do that. Look, in fairness to you, there's got to be consistency. There's people who played it and started it on a platform, right? And they're going to want to continue it because it's a legacy, right? And I don't think there's anything wrong with that per se. But listen, overall, do I agree with Alex Dies Twice? Yes, I do feel that if it finally comes, you kind of should support it because you want it to stay. You want to show the dev, hey, whatever. But it's an individual choice on where you play, right? But here's my thing. And I'll be honest, I could give myself a little credit. Okay. In the event, we now know that, I don't really get a chance to test this theory because we now know that Final Fantasy VII Remake, Rebirth or whatever it's called, is not going to come.
Yes.
I already finished that game on PlayStation, right? Already, right? Did the Yuffie DLC, the Intergrade, finished it, got a trophy, whatever. I'm not going to lie, though. If it was announced that it was going to come out in that Square Enix 25th anniversary, I probably would have gotten on Xbox because there's a part of me that I love the game so much, I want to play it again. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So part of me was like,
so it's funny you say that.
Yeah, I was going to do it. But again, it's an individual choice. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to I think even we had Colin on. Like, Colin's like, yo, I would love to play things on Xbox, but my trophies are there, right? So if there was a way, right, we call it like smart integration or whatever we called it, right? And there's a way to bring those trophies to equate to achievements, then people, can have that history that they put in that. That's blood, sweat, and tears to tell someone to start fresh over and you got everything over there. You know what I'm saying? Kind of thing. You've created a library. So all I will say is this. With this situation, yes, I'm always going to be support it when it finally comes. But I honestly think the issue is anecdotal, and I think it could be solved by just being there and being, if it's in Game Pass, even better, because now you're going to get people to try. And I think that's Xbox's, ace in the hole. Like if it happens to be in Game Pass, you're going to get people to try. That's the ultimate end game. You know what I'm saying? And because I think there'll be more new people to try than us crucifying Maddie who tries to stay on his platform. That's just where I'm at.
Yeah. For me, it's always just been, again, to go back to my original point, it's always just been tough to get my hands on some of these physical copies for these games. I'm a collector, right? So like when I go out to the store, it's like, hey, do you guys have Xbox copies? Oh no, they like never sent us any. It's like, Christ, man, like it finally did it. I guarantee it'll be hard to find Persona 5 Royal. Like I wouldn't be shocked at all if it's hard to find it physically, but it's on the platform. And I know most people are getting their stuff digitally. Last Mega Man question. Look, we got a ton of write-ins about this. So I was like, feed the beast. Like, I want to talk Mega Man for once. So let's do it. Dave Ramos writes in, all right, Dukes, it happened. Mega Man Battle Network Collection was finally announced. A little weird. Xbox is left out. But hey, check this out. But personally, I prefer to play these games on my Switch anyway. I didn't plan this out. Actually, that's hilarious timing.
Great follow.
Quick gut check. Are these the end of the collections? Will there be a Star Force or Legends collection? Will there be a Mega Man Lost Legacy collection, including titles like X Command Mission, Mega Man Network Transmission, and Mega Man and Bass? This is a great question because that was what I was thinking. And I think it's full steam ahead. Like they clearly got something here, right? Mega Man is not as popular as it was in like the early 2000s, late 90s, where if those of you weren't paying attention in the early 2000s, Mega Man was like inescapable. They would have like an X game coming out, a Zero game coming out, a Battle Network game coming out like every year. It was ridiculous how many Mega Man games they were getting. You would get, as I mentioned earlier, the repackaging. You'd get your Legacy collection of like 1 through 8. You'd get your X Legacy collection 1 through 8. They would just keep selling more and more Mega Man stuff. They had the NT Warrior anime. They had toys. Mega Man was at its peak in the early 2000s, right? So I think they're slowly trying to get them back in there. They saw Mega Man 11 did well. So they're like, there's modern interest in this. Let's continue to build that modern interest. I think right now they're gathering data, right? They're like, let's keep re-releasing these old games, see what does the best. I think Battle Network's definitely generated. I granted I'm more invested in this, but from what I've seen, what I've read online, the celebration, Zero was more of a, oh, wow. Because for me, I'd never heard of the Zero games until the collection came out. The X collection was to be expected along with Legacy because they had done those before. Battle Network is like, oh shit, they're doing it. To me, I think they need to keep going because things like Star Force were slept on because they put those out after 6 Battle Network games. People were tired. People were tired. There's 3 of those. I think the Legends games would be the next pop, though. If you want to talk about the next bang, people want Legends 1 and 2 back. These are expensive games. hard to come by. You can get them on your Vita, get them to the back compat store and whatnot. But otherwise, I think they keep going ahead with them. I think there's too much money to be made here. You gotta immortalize all of Mega Man to move forward, I believe.
I ain't really got much more to add, but Cashman wins.
Cashman, yeah, I like that.
Cashman, he's outside. He's seeing what's going on. Listen, this is, like you said, they tested the waters. And now they're seeing the residuals. They're seeing the excitement. They're seeing people want. Look, the fact you got people on Twitter going crazy for a Mega Man game not on Xbox is actually a positive thing for Capcom on demand. So yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's keep chucking them out.
Right on.
You're sitting on money.
Yes, sir. So that's coming in 2023. Unfortunately, that was the one complaint I had. I was like, oh my god, a remaster collection. I gotta wait till 2023. Another reason why I'm just going to get all these Trails games done this year, because that's a lot of JRPGs that I know I won't have time for next year. It's like, I need to play that Mega Man when it comes out.
Yeah, it's over.
Number 6, not really gaming related, but it's Fallout related, so I'm throwing it in here. In an exclusive report from Variety, they have confirmed an additional 3 cast members that will be joining Ella Purnell and Walter Goggins in the Fallout Amazon TV show. The show is scheduled to begin filming at the end of the year. First is, and I apologize in advance, by the way, as I've said, not the biggest TV viewer. If I get anyone's name wrong here, I just want to say my deepest, sincerest apologies. We have Kyle MacLachlan, who was in Twin Peaks, Dune, and Blue Velvet. We have Zelia Mendez-Jones, who was in Havoc, a Netflix feature, in season 2 of Wheel of Time. And then we have Aaron Moten, who is Father Stu alongside Mark Wahlberg and is in Emancipation. Now, Cog, as you're reading this script, you may see I've labeled some predictions on who these characters are just based off their general appearances. And I think that I'd say they're fair. I think we might be getting a subtle retelling of Fallout 4. Because Kyle MacLachlan's got some father energy.
Yeah, he definitely got
Zilia's got a little Piper energy for sure. I could see the red newsboy cap, all that action. And Aaron Moten, man, that's Preston Garvey if I've ever seen one. I saw that shit. I was
the settlement needs your help, bro.
The comments on the tweet announcing it was like, bro, they're going to do Fallout 4 again. I was crying. I was like, this guy literally looks like Preston Garvey. It's perfect. It's perfect.
He does.
So what's your feeling about, if you know anything about these actors and actresses? Because I don't know anything.
I don't know too many about the actors and actresses, but I'm just going by these pictures that we see and you've got up. And I'm like, yeah, definitely feel like a shoe-in for 4. But it'll be interesting if they don't do 4. What would they do? Right? Yeah. That'd be crazy. So yeah, this is going down. How you feel about it though? Because you're the Fallout guy. Like, how do you feel about a Fallout?
I feel horrible. I feel horrible. Not because of the talent. I just do you know how much it's sickened me to be sitting here at my computer writing the script for us? It's late at night. And I'm just like the next bit of Fallout news that I'm probably going to get, unless my remaster prediction for QuakeCon comes true, is going to be the Fallout TV show. Like, that's how we're celebrating this anniversary. Fallout. I will give it. I did not bother with Halo, but being the sickening fanboy I am, I will watch Fallout from start to finish. Even if it pains me greatly as I slowly die inside, I will give it its chance because I want to love it. Probably more than anyone.
Yeah, I want to see your disgust if they do mess anything up. It's always fun when it's the hardcore that know every aspect of it, because it's like King with comics, you with Fallout. Yeah. There's certain franchise, and I get certain ways too, with certain things I love, and I'm like, yo, what are they doing? This ain't it. But they might nail it. You never know.
You do never know. So we'll see. All right, number 7 on the news. Overwatch 2 will replace the original when it launches in early access this year. While it has been a part of the game's roadmap, this is the first official confirmation that Overwatch 1 will cease to exist. This was confirmed via an AMA on Reddit by the game's director. Quote, "We're using the term early access to indicate that this is just the start of many new things coming to the game. We're launching with new heroes, maps, and features, but there's even more coming seasonally every 9 weeks. We recently released a roadmap detailing some of this content, with a new hero coming in seasons 1 and 2 and a new map in season 2. Additionally, larger pieces of the game that have always been a part of the vision for Overwatch 2 will be released to the game as a part of a live service, including the launch of the PvE campaign next year. When Overwatch 2 launches on October 4th, it will be a replacement for the current live service. Now, Cog, this is just a really fancy way of saying that we used live service as a marketing term, is it not?
Yeah, a bit.
How are you feeling about when originally it was said by Jeff Kaplan when Overwatch 2 was announced that the online multiplayer space would intersect and that no one would be left behind? Plans have changed in the form of now leaving them behind. Plans have changed again. It's going to be free to play. So clearly they're reacting to something, you'd have to imagine, because there's no consistency here. How is Lord Cognito feeling about Overwatch 2 heading into October 4th release date?
I don't know how I feel about this strategy, to be honest. And I'm not, look, to be honest, I wasn't the biggest Overwatch fan, only because, not because the game wasn't good. The game was one of the most balanced, tactical shooters, cooperative. I'll give it its due. Oh, yeah. My issue always came to with these amazing characters, where the hell is the narrative? Yes. I have no narrative on these characters. What are they doing? Why are we here?
Too cool to not be explored.
Yeah, like that. And I felt a lot of Overwatch fans were giving this a pass. And thus I fully admit I was in my feelings when it won Game of the Year.
Oh, because I was about that.
I know you were. A lot of people against. I was on my island. I was on my Deathloop island.
Oh no. Okay.
It was
I'm so sorry. I know it. Yeah. I'm so sorry.
I was the only guy like, look, it's good, it's cool. And why are we giving this a pass for not having any remnants of a story? When I've seen fighting games have story modes, I've seen all these other games that I was going in. Right. So I was fighting the fight by myself. Mm-hmm. Anyway, it does bother me. I ain't gonna lie. Because there's a part of me that's like, all right, you're going to replace the live service with Overwatch 2. But like, what if long term we don't like Overwatch 2? What if long term the core base mechanics, people say, yo, Overwatch 1 was actually more fire? Right? So why can't, like, when you lose the ability, let's correct me if I'm wrong.
I will throw out there real quick that they were going to bring the updates from Overwatch 2 retroactively into Overwatch 1, if that changes anything.
Yeah, I mean, the initial vision. So my main thing is, as it currently stands, I'm going to ask this. Can I boot up Overwatch 1 in its existing form that it is now before Overwatch 2, after Overwatch 2 drops?
No.
Can that happen?
No, it seems like it'll cease to exist. So you will lose that.
Right.
I get what you're saying.
I'm looking at it from a live service standpoint. Like, again, I'm a Destiny player. So in D2, there's certain things people are like, yo, D1 did this better, or D1's PvP was better, or whatever. And people are like, yo, let's go back. Let me show you. Now, granted, overall quality of life in D2 is way better, but there's some people that like certain things. So I can't go back to the base.
Going back to Destiny 1 still?
There are some, there's people hitting me up talking about, yo, bro, when we gonna run King's Fall? I'm like, we not running anything at 30 frames per second.
Oh my God, that's a thing.
People hit me
because they support it. I like that they do, but that's crazy.
Bro, they would have run the old raids, Wrath the Machine, King's Fall, classic raids that still either haven't come. So my thing is, again, it's not apples to apples with Overwatch, but let's just say they do some controversial gameplay balances things, and the community doesn't like it, and they liked how it was. You can't play the original. I don't know how I feel about that. Again, I was trying to be your friend, Overwatch. I was like, okay, look, like, this year. I'm in. Look, I'm gonna play it. I'm talking all this. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna get down.
Yeah.
But I am curious, not for me, but the hardcore. Because the hardcore is what's going to drive it on certain levels. If they're upset with balance and what's going to happen if they be like, yo, you should have left it how it is? And let's just say the devs fight back and say, no, this is the new way of doing things, and we're not changing.
That's what happened when they did the I know Paco Luigi, one of our frequent write-ins, he would fire up saying like, oh, I actually think that it was a good thing. Because I remember he would even write in ham radio about that. There are a lot of people who thought it was a good change, but there's no doubt that when they started to do roll locks and they said like 3 tank meta is no longer a thing, and they just forced you into queues, the queue times became absurd. Remember earlier this year, I saw Overwatch 2 and I said, I want to get back into it. I loved Overwatch. and I could it took 8 to 10 minutes to get into a match. I couldn't do it, man. It was terrible. The wait times, because of the way they've done role queues, is bad. I want to play the competitive mode. That's, y'all know, like, that's where I live and die on the first person shooters. I play MOBAs, man. I'm there to win. I love the competitive nature of these games. And I felt like Overwatch was this melding of like MOBA energy, but a first person shooter. Beautiful, beautiful game.
Oh, so
loved it. And I feel like, yes, you do need to move on, and they've kind of buried Overwatch 1 so much that like it may make some sense. But again, you really do look at some of the changes they made and how it alienated the player base, and they lost so many people. Like, this was one of the most popular games on the internet at one point. It's not anymore. So you make an excellent point that if they make some changes, like, this is how it's going to be. That could be a DOA big time.
And to me, it screams, because like you said, the history was that they lost a lot of player base. So to me, it screams, we're worried about losing that base with a complete fresh foundation, new start Overwatch 2. That's a separate server, a separate client that you got to log into. We will see.
We shall see. I will say in their defense that the base Overwatch game right now isn't anything crazy. I am interested in Overwatch 2. I think the mistake was just calling it Overwatch 2 in a lot of ways. And if they were going to do that, the campaign had to be ready. It had to be bigger and better than we ever expected. They had to really expand the multiplayer. To call it Overwatch 2 and say, we're dropping a couple new maps and a new hero on launch day for early access, it doesn't hit right. And then saying next year, we're going to give you the campaign. They're clearly, they're clearly reacting internally to what they're seeing and trying to find the best route to success here. When the best route would be just like the first Overwatch game. Oh my God, this is amazing.
Great game.
That's all it takes. So we'll see if they figure it out. Yep. Last bit of news here before we get into the Game Pass and Back Compat picks of the week. During an interview with 4Gamer.net, FromSoft president Hidetaka Miyazaki took some time to shine some light on the future of the company after Elden Ring took the world by storm with nearly 14 million copies sold since its launch in February of this year. It has been confirmed for some time that From Software has multiple games in development, but following the release of a game as big as Elden Ring, you'd think the wait will be long. Fans will be pleased to learn that, according to Miyazaki, their next game is in the final stages of development. He never hints as to what this game may be, and furthermore, he never closes the door on an Elden Ring sequel when saying the following, quote, "It's a case-by-case basis. There are merits to both taking over the numbering and creating a new work with a new title. So I would like to select as appropriate," end quote. So COG, Elden Ring 2, not off the table, not too surprising, but that their next game is nearby in the final stages of development could be something like Bloodborne PS5 has been highly requested. Like a port of that would make sense with the timing. There's been rumors about Armored Core coming back. What's your feeling on this? What are you expecting?
Yeah, positive news. I didn't expect this. I thought they were kind of like sitting on the laurels. They're gonna kind of cake out. They got a banger. They were right. They were so surprised by the success of Elden Ring. They really were taken back. So they're in the driver's seat. They could go so many different ways with it. A new IP or give. You know what? Shout out to my man. Who is it? Mr. Badbit. He's a PlayStation content creator. He has like a list like, only 3,000 something more days until I get my Bloodborne. like he loves Bloodborne so much that he's got like a daily counter. Wow. And I would love for this thing. Like one time we got faked out by a fake rebellion that put out Bloodborne 2. And I was like, damn it, I tweeted him. I'm like, oh, I got caught. Damn, that wasn't real.
Yeah, he got a lot of people.
It caught a lot. I would love that to happen. So yeah, I don't know where they're gonna go with it, but they're in the driver's seat, provided, I mean, even if God of War comes out this year, it's going to be hard to dethrone Elden Ring. For as much as I slander, I understand what that game is and what it did to the industry. Ultimate respect.
Oh, yeah. I am very excited to play more FromSoft's work. I mean, Elden Ring still, to me, best game of the year so far. Easy magnum opus energy from this title. So whatever they're doing next, like many others, I've already been on the FromSoft train for years. Just anything they announce, I'm like, sold. All right, I'm in. Day one. See you there. The only time I really wasn't a fan of that was Dark Souls 2, as I think many can understand that. But otherwise, it's like, yep, I'm there. Count me in. So whatever they're doing, I'll be there. Day one. They got me.
No doubt.
All right, Cog, you did our our Game Pass pick of the week. And your selection here is one you've been talking a bit about. So I'm excited to learn some more now that everyone, the masses, can experience this game.
Naraka. I'm stuck with it. I told you I was going to play it. I played the early beta. And first of all, I got to support. You know what I'm saying? Because number one, I complained about, the Japanese games not being here. This is not a brand new IP, but it's been around, I'm saying on PC. You educated me. So I was like, let me learn more about it. Here's the thing. Secretly, when Battle Royale dropped as a genre, I was on board. I thought the concept was fire. Sure. Like, you drop in, island, what's going on? You know what I mean? I got to scrounge. I got to pick up for weapons, and see what's over there in the distance. Okay, friend or foe. There is a tension to it. There is a fun to it. And the PUBG had the essence. The issues just came down to the graphics. Naraka it might be the Battle Royale for me. Now, listen,
interesting.
It ain't perfect. There's some issues here. I feel the onboarding is bad. I got to call it out. The onboarding is so much going on. Like, there's scrolls, there's weapon. Like, they let you start off, they let you traverse, they let you get a feel of how you use the weapons. I mean, how you use combat. So you have like almost your light slash, your power shaft, you have ranged weapons, you have bows, you have guns, you have certain little things that you can do. The key, what sets Naraka apart for me, though, is the traversal. Because it's almost like a Tenchu-like grappling hook that actually can be done very quickly during movement. So you can run. They also have Assassin's Creed-like energy where everything is scalable. So you jump, you hop, and you can get on the top of structures, get the high ground. You're on top of pagodas. You're looking around. Now, I will say the art style, this just screams that Japanese energy, mythics, a lot of the main character that you get to play with, kind of like a ninja female. She kind of looks like Jinx from G.I. Joe. She's got a little blind thing going on, fire. There's this Shaolin monk that I'm taking right now. I will say, customization options, A+. You can even take a picture of Maddie's face, import it into your game, look like Mr. Maddie plays on your character, the skin tones.
Didn't NBA do that for a while? They did do that,
but
right?
This is actually really impressive.
Nice.
Like, graphically, I'm not going to front. When you get into the customers and you see the detail.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people posting. Call me crazy. Like, for me, I'm just like, I ain't giving you a picture of my face.
No, I feel.
They're just like, okay, thank you.
Yeah, your data. I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
We keep the Illuminati off us.
Just Google my name. That's all.
I feel that. So I will say this. All right. So what you find out, you think it's just made like you can get nunchucks, you can get swords, you get range combat. Oh, they got the nunchucks. It looks fire. Now the combat gets a little frenetic when you actually see someone. So when they start, they got all.
I'm thinking of the scene from the '90s TMNT movie where like Michelangelo's doing the nunchuck things with the foot ninja.
Animations looking fire like that. And they even taking it back to. They have some customizable stuff, which I'm going to get into, which that part is a little egregious.
Okay.
Naraka Blade Point, you're a little egregious.
343 energy.
I saw some stuff for my Shaolin monk, and I'm like, that's a cool suit. What do I need? You need gold. All right, so let's just say theoretically, how much would I pay for this? It's like $12, $15. I'm like, damn, Naraka. He outside with they microtransactions. They are definitely milking that part. But the tension, I played with a squad of 4. The tension as the map got smaller, you're fighting other human players. In the beginning, they kind of give you a little, you playing against bots, stuff just to get your feet wet, just to kind of understand how to track, how to kill, how to level up. And the cool thing is actually finding armor. You can repair armor. You can repair weapons. Weapons don't have infinite usage. You know what I mean? So you got that aspect. They've managed to do melee combat with great traversal, good graphics, and I go for super moves. Each one has their own. They have about 9, 10 individual characters with their own presets. It got a lot of potential. I go front like, I'll hold a hold. I'm like, we got to try this as a squad. I'm having fun. I got to see how long I'm gonna stick with it. The only issue I have, I feel that the learning, it is very deeper than you think. and you got to go into the training modes. There's a bloodbath mode where you can play against other players strictly. There's other modes that you really got to refine because there's combos, there's juggle, there's things you can do. You know, so it's a fighting game.
Yes.
In Battle Royale. And my last little complaint, I will say, I do wish they had like an Elden Ring, at least I don't know it yet, kind of a lock on. Because sometimes it gets frenetic and you're all over. You're like, yo, where they at? You know, kind of thing. Sure. So that's it. So I'm still finding my way. But after I played about 4, the matches can range from about 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how quickly you get eliminated. But there was a rush. I won my first chicken dinner as a team, so to speak. And there's a progression, it's a deep progression system.
So I imagine this should be assumed with Battle Royale, but I apologize. I didn't think of this. So it's, I was thinking because it's melee, like it's one-on-one type of stuff, but you got a squad you can drop with.
We can play 4 up.
Interesting. That's not what I expected.
Together with this, bro, and it is so Shaolin. It is so much. It is so culture. Like they got it down. Like one of my super moves is Shaolin monk. He ends up looking like this Akuma-like figure with the big beads, and then I turn into this supernatural godlike creature, and I can grab up a little enemy like this and squeeze them and do. It's crazy, bro. They're over the top with it. It's like Wukong energy with the spiritualness and what you can do. Like. I ain't gonna. The art style got me, and graphically it looks good. I like it. I like it.
That's awesome. And how's the progression for this game?
So pretty much what you do is you have in game. You start off with nothing, and you just kind of. It is almost like legendary items, common knives. You can progress. Now the progression, strictly from what I've seen, is just cosmetic. You can level things up and get more. Suits and faces and hairstyles and all this other stuff. But it's very intricate. And bro, you can customize everything. Like this has one of the best creators, like almost Skyrim-like level creators to customization. But yeah, I mean, like I said, they have a great foundation. They have seasonal content, seasonal tracks, stuff that goes away, a little bit of Fortnite energy there. A lot of potential. Just stay away from the microtransactions. Don't get caught.
Okay. All right. Can you resist? Do you feel like you can resist, sir?
Already, bro.
Oh, no.
They had a suit that looked so
all that last stand money going back to Netties.
I blew $15. Netties got me on one. I saw it was so because what I will say this, that you can naturally progress and get, because I hate games where only the fire stuff is in the shop. They'll have stuff, but they'll require you got to play at least 4 or 5 games, and you got to win. And you have challenges, objectives, kill this amount of people, use your super this many times. That kind of like there's things to get cool stuff too. But yeah, they got me. So I knew I was gonna play a game like this.
Okay, they got you locked in. Then they got your money. You got to stick around.
I like it.
Good. Sounds great. Christian R writes in, just for those of you looking for a Game Pass game for a youngling. Greetings, Dukes. Just wanted to compliment Game Pass for the sheer diversity in games. You may laugh. We're not going to. But I randomly stumbled upon Paw Patrol Mighty Pups Save Adventure Bay, and it brought so much joy to our home. This is a game I never would have even considered purchasing, but happily downloaded it as my 3-year-old's favorite cartoon franchise is this at the moment. The game is no Elden Ring, but absolutely perfect for a child who is new to the world of video games by introducing core game mechanics in a simple-to-learn format. My daughter had the time of her life, and then we went back to Shredder's Revenge and kept the fun going. Thanks, and may Game Pass provide for you as it has for me, Chris. I thought this was great to see because I've seen a lot of pictures online of people playing TMNT with their kids. Been a lot of that. That's been amazing. So cool. The good old couch co-op days. So really nice to see that.
Yes, and shout out to the demo for online 6-player co-op, which we've done, which I was mad because Streets of Rage deserved a 4-player online co-op mode. But yeah, so they learned from my complaint.
But for all the parents who listen to us, just want to throw out there that Paw Patrol, this is like the 3rd or 4th time we've got to write in about this game. It seems to be a pretty good entry point for young kids. So if you're looking for a Game Pass game for a young kid, this seems to be a good one. Although I can't say I played it, so maybe it's try. Maybe you got this like mega gamer dad sitting there like, what the fuck is this shit, man? That frame rate's terrible, bro. And the kids is like, this is great.
Kids don't care, man. It's a different generation. No,
All right, we got some questions to wrap up the show. The Real Deli writes in, Hey Dukes, recently Maddie talked about getting into the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection, so I decided to pick it up myself. Boy, did I forget that these games are hard as balls, but it's still so much fun. Do you guys wish Team Ninja returned to this series instead of making Wo Long? I know the third game isn't remembered well for good reason, I might add, but I feel this series is in prime position for a successful comeback. P.S. Cog, we outside all 2022. Let's get them hip, my brother. Salute the Dukes. Thank you, Real Deli. Cog. So what's the feel on this one? Ninja Gaiden or Wo Long? Now we have the unfortunate bias of not knowing what fully Wo Long will be. We just have information, but would you like to see Ninja Gaiden come back in exchange?
Of course. It's a simple question. Of course. Remember, I got fooled when I saw the Team Ninja logo. That's what I thought might be happening. But now, Wo Long, I ain't going to disrespect. That looks really cool. The pedigree is amazing. Bloodborne, I believe, Devil on that. Like, I'm not going to be disrespectful. Let's see it out.
100%.
It looks like tremendous. I just love the fact that it's coming to Xbox. I love the fact that they're ahead. They're on something new. You know what I'm saying? That's a big thing. But yeah, once you get your little Wo Long money, bring the Ninja back.
Yes, sir.
Bring them back. It's time.
I like
people want them.
Yeah, hopefully it's the start of that. It's interesting because I would like to see Ninja Gaiden come back, but it has to come back in the form of like 1 and 2. And I've been playing 3 Razor's Edge, and I think it's got a really bad rap. In the re-release, by the way. The original 3 is bad. Razor's Edge, though, is the one with all the fixes. And it's actually a really fun action game. But it's not that difficult. Whereas Ninja Gaiden 2 really is like a blending of toughness and action. And then Ninja Gaiden Black, a all-time Xbox classic. I would love to see them bring that back. In the day and age of the Soulsborne, you gotta think Xbox is looking at that. You gotta think that's crossed the table as like a what if. And maybe this is the hopefully start of that, because that just makes so much sense to be able to have what was pretty much the birthplace of the Souls genre for many people. You know, that tough 3D game, mastery of mechanics. Of course, we could even say, like with Castlevania or Metroidvania style games, like that type of toughness. But you know what I mean? I just feel like Ninja Gaiden was clearly one of the inspirations of what Dark Souls would become, and in turn, Souls genre. So I feel like Xbox, you're sitting on a gold mine with that, right? Just show people your own little, the history too, your own little Souls game. But maybe Wo Long becomes that. Day one Game Pass.
I'm willing to give it a shot. I'm absolutely with you on both points.
I'll take Wo Long, though, personally, just to answer the question directly, just because Dynasty Warriors is like my heart and soul growing up. Now you're going to put them in a Souls-type game, and if it's like Neo 2, you're telling me it's going to be co-op? Oh, man. They have such a wonderful formula in Neo 1 and 2. If you're looking to play these games, just play Neo 2, by the way. But, hey, this would be a great time, too, while we're on the topic, to maybe get Neo 2 over to Xbox.
Oh, yeah, remember that?
Yeah, that would be that's a good one.
Is that those guys? Was it those guys?
Yeah. I wish. That's a game that I would unapologetically recommend if it ever.
Solve loves that game.
It deserves to be over here on Xbox, but maybe that's why they're locking down Wo Long. They couldn't get Neo, contractual obligations, so here they are with Wo Long. Smart call.
Just develop the relationship and stay in pocket now moving forward.
Indeed. Money talks. All right. Chase McGarver's our next write-in. Hey, Dukes. My question is about trophies/achievements. Has a games list ever stopped you from playing the game that you otherwise were excited for due to bad trophies? Examples include multiple playthroughs, online, difficulty, etc. Thanks, Jace. Guilty as charged, man.
Ooh, I gotta hear this.
Dude, I am one of the bigger stands for Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. This was that kind of overhead beat 'em up that came from Interplay. And you know, that's my Baldur's Gate, right? There's BioWare Baldur's Gate, which defined, I think, PC role-playing games. And then there is Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, which defined to me like the action RPG. That was my Diablo. So when they announced it, like, we're doing a port, and by the way, they confirmed they're doing a port of Dark Alliance 2, which is an expensive game. But when they announced this, I was like, no way. Like, they're bringing back Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. Like, it just felt so improbable. I took one look at that trophy list and my heart sank. I was like, this is so bad. It's not even fair how bad this is, man. And I remember I made my review, and it was a pretty scathing review. I was like, there's a lot wrong with this game. Like, they didn't tweak enough. The price was way too high. The trophies were terrible. I went off on them for that. Social media account shares my review. I'm like, hey, guys. I responded, I'm like, hey, guys, thanks for this. This is really cool of y'all. I said, especially because I wasn't glowing. That tweet got deleted. Yeah. So that's a funny story behind it. But
wait, they deleted it?
They deleted the tweet promoting the review. They were like, hey, because they tweeted me, they're like, hey, thanks at G27 status. This was a great review. And I respond, I'm like, thanks. It's really cool to see a publisher who's like sharing a review that wasn't necessarily glowing. You know, because I still liked the game a lot, but I didn't love their port. And they just immediately were like, what tweet? What video? What review?
What video? Yeah, they was clout chasing for a moment.
Yeah, they
saw, that even they talking about us. It gotta be positive. Nah, fam. You got the smoke. But I'll give you credit because you did that with what was it? Recently? I felt it was Obsidian or Fall, but so you recently did that, and it wasn't a glowing review. It was Deathloop. Was it Deathloop? Yeah, Deathloop.
There's been unfortunately a lot of situations. Deathloop and
it was Deathloop, and then the Deathloop did. I believe they retweeted. It's like, yo, thanks for the feedback, right?
Yes. The director Dinga Bakaba had tweeted at me saying he really liked my review. I think that was easier for him to stomach when everyone else was giving him 10s, but I do not take away the fact that he braved the storm and came in my flannel path.
Yes. Respect. I gotta respect that.
Oh, of course.
But yeah,
of course, 100%.
To the question for Jace. All right, so I've never looked at a list and say, all right, I'm not going to play it because a list is bad. But I gotta call out. Listen, I gotta call something out. I've been holding on to this.
Let it loose.
For my turn-based brothers, we've been getting the short end of the stick with these achievements, bro. Like, these turn-based game achievements are ridiculous. Like, you'll do chapters sometimes. It's like, all right. You know, I look at games like a Gears Tactics, Phoenix Point, XCOM, games I put hours upon hours. And even my RTS brothers, like, we playing these games, and they want to give you 10 points for like one thing. And like, sometimes it'd be a long time. You got like 10 plus hours in a game, you ain't get one achievement yet. And I'm like, bro, this is brutal. Like, you got it for the guys that love that genre. Like, I don't feel it's fair that other games just get a little give me achievement for completing the chapter. And we out here putting blood, sweat, and tears with strategy, and we not getting any give me achievements. So it looks like when you beat these games, you getting like a 30 to 40% of the achievements, like you didn't really do anything. And I hate that feeling. Like, I looked at that Gears Tactics, you guilty. Like, y'all be having to kill 10,000 enemies, 4 or 5 playthroughs. Like, come on. Like, nobody, look, we love your game.
Yeah.
But fam, come on, like, don't do that. Yes, like the seriously joints. Remember, seriously, like they trying to keep that energy. And I get it. XCOM, a lot of these games turn-based, they just the ratio to gameplay hours to achievement is bad.
That reminds me.
Fix that, because we love your game and we want to be rewarded and showcase these games that we playing. Because I hate that. You put your bad hours and be like, you got 300 out of 1,000. What?
Yeah. Here's the trophy that it reminds me, or the achievement it reminds me of. Left 4 Dead. The zombie genocidist one. Kill 53,595 infected. I know they send a lot your way, but I'm like, bro, that's ridiculous.
You try to force engagement in your game to keep us in. No, that's ridiculously forced.
Yeah. So I'm with you. There are definitely games that I've been like, this is why it's important that Xbox looks into overhauling the system a little bit. Just saying. Because, for example, with that Baldur's Gate one, there would be a trophy for beating the game. There was a trophy for beating the game a second time. I'm like, you're telling me in the span of like 80 hours, I'm going to get 2 trophies? I know back then we played games without them, but the benefit is now we have them. So some people were like, didn't you used to play games without them? I'm like, I did. But then PlayStation and Xbox combined to make this a thing. And I think it made games really better. I love the meta game. And when they're not there and they're particularly bad, it really devalues things for me at times. Or it's disheartening. There are games that I will push through, but I'm like, I'll see like 4 out of 12 after 80 hours. And I'm like, wow. And I know why this happens is sometimes they don't put in like the programming checks to like track data And that trackable data, if it's not there from the start, it's something that I want to shout out my lead artist. He had actually keyed me into this. He's like, make sure you track things early, because if you make that stuff trackable, you can make them achievements and trophies. I was like, oh, nice. So he saved my bacon from being like a 12 achievement game for sure.
That's right. That's respect. Respect.
All right, Will Hahn's up next. What's up, Maddie and Cog? I hope you two are doing well. We're in the heart of the summer now, and I have to ask, do you guys have any fond memories of playing games during the summer for long periods of time when you were out of school? For me, as a child, it was endlessly playing rounds of Smash Bros. Melee with my neighbors, since we all had GameCube in the early aughts. Thanks for the entertaining content, and keep wearing those Crocs. Will, stand down. Stand down.
Look, shout out to Will, though. That's the whole, first of all, no Crocs, Will. But this is the homie LSM family who recently joined Lords of Gaming down there.
Ah, there we go.
He put in an application. We met. Very, very cool guy. Good writer. Good writer. Love the content he's doing. All right, Will, let's get to it. So mostly I know this history already because I've done it on mailbags. That Tekken is my summer game, or the fighting. You know what I'm saying? And that was it. Just round them up and either competitively, you know, whether it be the local co-op with a group of the homies right next to us and passing that stick and one man stays on, that kind of thing. The Iron Man level tournaments where two people fight until one person has a 10 fight advantage on someone to break somebody mentally. You keep going. If someone is, 10 to 1, you keep going. And it's the will, the mental, the fortitude to do that. And then
from the boys.
Yeah, then the characters, we would get deep, bro. Like, yo, we would have rules. Whereas I know this sounds preposterous to say now, where like characters would come up and be like, all right, so we have a vote. Like, all right, so I'm gonna take Harang, the Taekwondo fighter, and no one else can't take him. Like, let's go takes Jin Kazama, and no one can. King takes Eddie Gordo, and no one else can take him. So interesting. Yeah, he was annoyed.
Oh my God. Yeah, he's frustrating to fight against because he like break dances on the floor, right? So he's just high, low
mixes. Yeah. You don't know where. Then King wants to do dances, and he put on the disco suit with the afro, with the tiger in the belt. And you don't want to lose to that. Yep. And in the mouth, oh my God. So yeah. So it was, bro. Men were made. Yeah. Men were made, man. So for me, my summer game. Bro, if you could if we were YouTubers back, man,
you wouldn't be sitting there.
We'd be the hottest thing on earth. That's one thing I'll brag. If anyone could go back to the days we were doing all this stuff consistently every Saturday at Mama Cog's house, man, we'd be the most popular YouTube channel. If those were live streams, oh my God, they would not suit them. But yeah, man, I miss it. Tekken always has a place in my heart. I'm looking for, hopefully, what's up, Harada? Like, Tekken tag. It's time. It's been
it's been since 2017. It's about time.
And one last call out. I'm sorry, Harada. I love you. I heard it's an Unreal Engine thing on Xbox, but I'm still disgusted that an Xbox Scorpio came out, a Series S came out, an X came out, and this game still runs at 720p on Xbox. No one calls it out.
That's bad. That's bad.
And the fact that I have to, it looks like someone speared Vaseline on the screen. I got to go on PlayStation. At least it's 1080p over there. You know what I'm saying? And no upscale. From what I heard, it's some type of engine issue. They still can't fix in the coding, but man. So at this point, it deterred me because I'm like, damn, I want to play it. I just wait for the new job. But I did everything I needed to do on PlayStation.
Yeah.
That's me. What about your summer game?
There's so many. I had a summer tradition for sure that this is the most ass-backwards, self-destructive tradition I've ever implemented in my lifetime. Fortunately, I have graduated school, so it's no longer a thing. But for some reason, and maybe it's like I needed my last hurrah, but to cap off my summer, that last week before school would start, you shut down all social operations, and my mom would be like, time to fix the sleep schedule, Matt. What is that? What do? I buy a new JRPG and I grind this shit. I remember specifically Tales of Exilium. I was in high school, and my mom was like, okay, try to go to bed earlier. School's next week. I'm up till 5 a.m. every day playing this game, grinding it. I'm like, I got to beat this before school starts. Again, it's my last hurrah is what I'm thinking was happening.
I love it.
Yeah, that was one thing I did over the summers I think about a lot. Now I'm just up till 5 a.m. every night playing games anyway.
Isn't it great?
But, what if I were to think of the summer game, I always think of the MW2 summer. Look,
ooh.
I do put some disrespect on MW2's name in the sense that I think a lot of people forget how bad that game was. But in the heat of the moment, I remember this was during the time where there was that Mountain Dew competition. It was during the ill-fated distortion competition that I rant and rave about from time to time, where distortion has now been put to rest. We're not gonna do that soda anymore. But I remember like having a lot of Mountain Dew that summer, playing a lot of MW2. AC was roaring. I don't know. There was just like an energy. I think about that. Friends were coming over. We were having pizza parties, playing game battles on the local Wi-Fi.
The UAV is on.
Yes, it was. And I'll always remember that fondly. The COD gets a lot of shit now for as we grow as gamers, we're getting tired of the recycle formula. But like in that early time, that was a special energy for sure.
Absolutely.
Special energy.
Absolutely.
So for me, that was the summer game. Like you were free. It was time to grind COD.
We got a prestige, man. We got to get up prestige.
Yeah, and all my friends, like, I had no life. So I was just playing single player games until my friends came home or whatever. And then we'd hop on COD for the night.
Oh, okay. That's what's up. Yeah, shout out to COD. Definitely gaming history. Can't take away from it.
Not John Cena has a write-in that I am most supportive of. What's up, Mr. No Hands on Deck Matty and All Hands on Deck Cog? I've been having some wishful thinking going on. As you know, we finally got a good TMNT game with TMNT Shredder's Revenge. We all know that Microsoft needs to get into the pop culture with their games. What better way to do that than with the Ninja Turtles? Think about it. They're green, possibility of being 4 players, and a AAA scope. I know this is just wishful thinking, but come on. This is a golden opportunity for Microsoft and Xbox. What Xbox studio do you think would make this? How do we get this in Phil's ear? Anyways, have a no hands piss and still piss on the toilet seat kind of day. Ooh, that ain't me.
That ain't bad. He's an expert with it.
The seat is up. The straddle is done. It drops right into the heart of the toilet. No mess. Again.
What we doing with not John Cena with this TMNT thing? What we doing?
I'm about it. And you're asking what studio they pass it to. It's like, dude, just let me direct it. I know I can bring us to the promised land. I'm sorry if some of you think I'm being overambitious, but since I was a kid, man, like I've had the vision for a TMNT AAA game. I don't have the scripts. I don't have a story. I have gameplay systems.
Ooh, that's fine.
I have the ideas. I've had the concepts. What my actual position would be, because I wouldn't be making any of this. Creative visionary, the creative director, right? I'd be like, this is what we're going to do creatively to make this thing happen. If Xbox brought me on, I'm telling you right now, you would have a God tier TMNT game. No doubts about it. However, that will never happen. So, Cog, do you think a TMNT AAA game could be what we're looking for? A good answer to Xbox's pop culture issue? We're in the wishful thinking category here. So would this be an answer you'd be happy with?
Look, I'd be happy. I don't think it's the answer, but I'd be happy. Like, don't get me wrong. Who would make it though? Besides Maddie, clearly. I'm never gonna say no to this. Damn, but who?
I always say Rocksteady. Always think
you say Rocksteady.
I know Rocksteady hasn't released a game in a while, but anytime I think of TMNT, I'm like, they're the team.
I don't even think I could beat that. That's a good.
They got to be the team. That's the thing. I got the vision. Microsoft, put me in the middle. Put me on the court. I will make this thing happen. I will hit the buzzer beater of the Xbox golden era. When we cap it off, we'll put together a AAA Arkham style TMNT masterpiece.
How you handling the 4 though? How you handling the 4 in the AAA space?
Oh, I don't think we do co-op.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, we don't.
TMNT has been bound far too long to co-op.
Oh,
we need to reinvent the wheel.
That's controversial. That's controversial take. That's a spicy one.
But look, we got 1,000,001 arcade games that let you do that. It's time for something a little new.
So we doing, but are we able to switch?
Yes.
To Dawn, the Raft, to
well, it depends. I have 2 story ideas in mind. There's the last. Oh, you already got. There's the last Ronin, which is one turtle, and all of his brothers are dead. That I think would be a spicy idea.
Very spicy, very risky, but you're going to piss off the base. Continue.
Now, that's a whole comic series, and it's excellent. Yes, I was like, I would be about that. Then there is, as you said, traditional 4 turtles, switch between them. And I think individualizing the turtles and separating them a bit would do the franchise some justice. Take a fresh take, a fresh approach to them. That's why Last Ronin is so good. It's different. They're dead. There's only one alive, and he's on a mission for revenge. They just made a game based off of that alone.
Fine. I like it.
Anyway, we'll continue the dream. VRG is our last write-in of this episode. Yo, Dukes, I know this isn't a Nintendo podcast, but how excited are you guys for Mario+Rabbids Sparks of Hope coming this October? Is Lord Turn-Based Cog interested? I know Maddie loved the first game even more so than Gears Tactics. The game with the stupid Raymond Rabbits will actually be better than anything Xbox puts out this year kind of day. And you know what? I might be inclined to agree.
Yeah, messy, but look, wait till that Pentiment drop, damn it. Look, I like Mario vs. Rabbids. It was harder than I thought, man. I was like, damn, this little game is a little challenging, man. A little different mechanics.
XCOM.
Yeah, shout out to Ubisoft. Shout out to Nintendo for trusting Ubisoft with that. That was an iconic moment to see that happen.
So shocked.
So I'm still in shock. Yeah, the fact that collaboration even existed, right? Yeah, I like it. Yeah. I like what I saw from the new joint. Let's see what they could do. I'm definitely feeling it. That's gonna be the type of Mario stuff that I'm gonna gravitate towards too. Yeah, it was really good. It was hard, but it was good.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking great because one thing that the first game felt like is you were sort of on a set path and you just be going to battle arena with not too much exploring off the beaten path. Now it looks like they've got that. And it looks wonderful. I am very, very excited for this one. To me, this is like on my list of must plays this year. Like, we talk about business decisions a lot come the fall, as always, even if this is going to be kind of like a less busy one compared to previous years, like it'll still be a lot of games. This is like on the must play. It will not be cut list. It has to be because the first one was so good. It was one of the most surprising games I think I've ever played, because I remember seeing it and going, this could be great, but it'll probably be like a toddler XCOM. It's like, no. Like you said, it's difficult. There's a lot of strategy. And now it looks like they're expanding the strategy where you can like run around, knock them over, do AoE attacks, go really crazy with it. The battle maps are bigger than ever. I mean, it just looks to be doing everything a sequel should be doing. Innovating upon the core mechanics and making them better. And that's what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
So,
like I said, turn-based for the year for me. I mean, one of my turn bases for the year of 2022 for me. Like I told you, it's for me. Tactics and Demio technically came out the year before, but this year it will be Mario+Rabbids and Midnight Suns for me. Those are my turn base.
I think that's in the same month too.
Bro, they better be careful with their release.
I think actually, hold on, let me.
Who come out first?
Let's see here. Midnight Suns release date.
Better stay away from the Midnight Suns.
October 7th for Midnight Suns. So we're in the same ballpark already. I know that.
Lord. When is Mario+Rabbids?
I think it was the 20 Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope release date. October 20th. How are we feeling about the 13-day window?
Yeah, I mean, at least it's about 2 weeks. We'll have a good feel of Midnight. Like, I'm be honest though, I'm gonna go in on Midnight.
Dude, yes.
I'm gonna live in that. So, and I don't mind the card thing that people are going crazy.
I'm the same way, 100%.
Yeah, so I'm playing Demio. Like, ain't nothing. I'm excited. So let's go.
Cards do not need to scare people. Play Neon White. See the light. All right. Understand that cards in video games are not this scary procedural generated money making machine that they were when Hearthstone came around. No longer a thing.
Same thing. I was playing cards with. I give Kojima. I was playing cards since Metal Gear Acid on PSP. One of the most fire underrated games, turn-based Metal Gears nobody's ever played. Yeah, I told you, people sleep on it. Sir. It's great, and it had the essence of Metal Gear.
Yes, sir. So that's everything we got this episode. A jam-packed one. A lot of conversations. Thank you all so much for writing in, Cog. I think the hashtag's got to be about the mismanagement. That was a hot topic. All episode. I mean, it was all episode when you think about it. Like, that was across write-ins, news story, like 4 of them. We've never really had that where like 4 stories were like pretty cohesive. They were really connected. So how do we want to put this in a most respectful manner? You're Lord Respect, right? I'll just say something foul. So as Lord Respect, how do we talk about mismanagement DD without not really sitting here and pounding our chest about it?
I know, because it went from the Bethesda situation, all hands DD.
Oh, I like that.
Oh, because we had the all hands. We got to talk about the booties in there. We got to have these all hands meetings about this mismanagement.
All hands DD. I like that one a lot. So if you got this deep into this show, whether you want to fire it in the YouTube comment section, all hands DD, let us know your thoughts on the entire episode. Or you can go to Twitter. I am at G27status. Cog is at Lord Cognito. You can tweet at both of us there, again, using the hashtag AllHandsDD. Let us know your thoughts on the episode. It's certainly set to be an interesting one. So thank you all so much. Cog, any closing words before we wrap this up?
Another fire show with the Dukes. You know how we do. I just laugh because all hands also has a connotation with the Pissgate stuff that we've been so it's kind of funny that it's that. All hands versus no hands.
All hands. And hopefully next week we can do something with no hands.
I know you would like to. Just the LSM community, they're watching you though.
So with that, thank you all so much for listening, for writing in, and we will see you next week for episode 79 of Defining Duke. Peace out.
Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is a product and trademark of Last Stand Media and Collins Last Stand LLC, and is recorded from the United States of America. The show is conceived by Matthew Mr. Matty Plays Schroeder and me, Colin Moriarty, and is written and produced by Matthew Schroeder. Matty's co-host is Barry Lord Cognito Eversley. Defining Duke's executive producer is Dustin Furman, and the show is edited by associate producer Ben Smith. All of Last Stand's theme music is by Ramon Narvaez. As you know, all of Last Stand Media's shows, including Defining Duke, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer support level on Patreon, and we're thankful for your kindness and generosity.